himself more than anyone else.
Fox's Steve Rappaport. Prosecutors say the Bangladeshi immigrant who was acting in the name of ISIS, the defense, claimed he only wanted to harm himself. This is Fox News.
Good news, Guam! Now you can design a phone plan that suits your needs by switching to GTA's handset payment option. With HPO, you can take home a new smartphone today and pay it down over 12, 18, or 24 months. You decide. And since there's no contract, you can upgrade phones at any time. So stop waiting. Join the thousands already taking advantage of the most flexible phone plan on Guam. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, your island, your network.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
3 more Chicago police officers will stand trial in the death of teenager Laquan McDonald. They're accused of falsifying reports about the shooting.
Officer Thomas Gaffney, former Detective David March, and former Officer Joseph Walsh are all charged with conspiracy, official misconduct, and obstruction of justice. Their attorneys wanted the case dismissed, calling it a sham, but prosecutors argued the officers falsely claimed in their reports that Officer Jason Van Dyke was battered, assaulted, and attacked by McDonald in 2014. Leading to the police shooting. Last month, the jury didn't buy it and convicted Van Dyke of second-degree murder for shooting McDonald 16 times.
Fox's Derek Dennis. The trial for the other 3 officers now scheduled to begin November 26th. The mail bomb suspect, Cesar Sayoc, appearing in federal court in New York for the first time today and still held without bail, due back in court next week. Sayoc was extradited yesterday from South Florida, where he'd been arrested on multiple counts, accused of sending more than a dozen pipe bombs. Donations pouring in for a music teacher caught on tape hitting a student.
He was arrested after a fist fight with a student. California teacher Marston Riley seen on video punching the teenager who'd repeatedly called him a racial slur and other names, also thrown a basketball at him before the fighting broke out in the classroom at Maywood Academy High School. Now, the GoFundMe account to help him pay for legal and other expenses swelling, far exceeding the bill for his bail set at $50,000, though the person who started the account writing the school district is looking at dismissing the 64-year-old music teacher. The school district says there have been meetings to help begin the healing process. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street, the Dow up 82 points. An earlier rally cooling a bit as midterm voting continues, but right now the Dow is over 25,500. Nice, Brady. This is Fox News.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho, ho, ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on the Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegly of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
So today I went into iConnect to sign up for their 12-month $19.99 mobile plan. I decided to switch from my old carrier to start saving money for Christmas. And guess what? I won an instant prize just for signing up. And they automatically entered me in their Connect and Win drawing for awesome prizes, including a vacation for 2 to Manila, all for signing up. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details or call 888-8888 to learn how you can connect and win with iConnect.
Conditions apply. Your first look at 93.3 The Point News is brought to you by Guam Hearing Doctors. Call the experts at Guam Hearing Doctors if you're worried about your hearing. The evaluation is simple and painless.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Election 2018 not over yet. As of 5:18 this morning, with 56 of 67 precincts counted, Lulian Guerrero continues to hold a commanding lead in the race for governor, and she has regained her 50% edge after slipping below that margin earlier this morning. According to the unofficial results at this hour, Leon Guerrero has 50.11% of the ballots cast to 26.61% for Tenorio Ada and 23.28% for the write-in ticket. 11 more precincts are left to count. No one has conceded yet. The counting continues. In the other races at this hour, Senator Michael San Nicolas has expanded his lead over Doris Flores Brooks in the race for the Guam delegate seat. San Nicolas has 56% of the votes cast so far, Brooks trailing with 43%. In the contest for the Guam legislature, if the numbers hold, the Democrats could be headed for a supermajority of 10. And as well, they are holding 10 seats for women. And the top 5 place finishers at this hour are incumbents Therese Terlahi, Talina Cruz Nelson, Joe San Augustine. Former Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes is in 4th place. Mary Camacho Torres is in 5th. For the Attorney General's race, Levin Camacho maintains his dominant lead over Doug Moylan with 67% of the votes compared to just 33% for Doug Moylan. Turnout at this time stands at 64%. We'll have more news after this.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need.
Islands. From now till November 16th, join us as we help Saipan and Tinian to get back on their feet. Acceptable donations include batteries, flashlights, tools, cleaning supplies, mosquito coils, rope, toiletries, personal hygiene items, and others. Donations can be dropped off to all GTA stores, the Guam Daily Post, all Guam Fire Department stations, and the Santa Teresita Catholic Church. For more information on how you can help, visit postguam.com.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. In news from the courts this morning, Robert Isaac Revels charged yesterday in Superior Court with the Monday burglary of EA Engineering's rented storage room in Barragata and the burglary of a home in Chalampago last week. In that home burglary, the owner told police that he saw Revels holding his 6-gallon gas container and his Sony DVD player, which Revels then dropped and fled after being spotted. Revels was eventually arrested Monday when police responded to a complaint of a suspicious vehicle at the EM Chen building located in Lower Barragata Heights. The vehicle had 2 different license plates. Police saw the lights were on in the building, and a storage room rented by EA Engineering appeared to have a damaged door. Officers then entered the storage room, found Revels and a second suspect identified as Seong-min Cho. Both men were arrested. Revels charged with 2 counts of burglary with a special allegation of committing a felony while on felony release. Cho charged with burglary as well. In district court Monday, closing arguments were heard in the drug conspiracy retrial of Raymond Martinez and Juanita Mosier. Attorneys Pete Paris and David Lujan representing the pair, who are alleged to have plotted to bring 8 pounds of crystal meth into Guam from California in 2015. Their first trial ended in a hung jury last May. Both defense attorneys argued that their clients were entrapped by the government, and they questioned the character of key prosecution witness and former Guam Customs officer Henry Alvendia. Alvendia was charged with receiving bribes and kickbacks. He agreed to cooperate with the prosecution in exchange for a lesser sentence. However, Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Black emphasized the best evidence came from the defendants themselves. He said Martinez meticulously planned every detail of the conspiracy while Mosier aggressively pursued Alvendia's cooperation due to his position with Guam Customs. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now talk a little weather.
A little bit, partly cloudy sky. I'm going to do everything slow because the amount of actual news and information and talk this morning is very, very low. So I'm going to go very slowly through some of these topics. I think if I go slow through the weather, then we can hit the next Fox newscast, right?
It's possible.
There is that possibility. Partly cloudy sky. I can't do it. Partly cloudy skies. Isolated showers today, becoming mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight. Northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs 90 degrees and overnight lows of about 78 degrees. Sunrise this morning in 3 minutes. Sunset tonight at 5:52 p.m. And maybe by then we'll know what the outcome of the gubernatorial race is. Looks like we've settled most of the other questions in the election yesterday. It just comes down to, as I said, what's going to be happening in the gubernatorial race. Let's see if the weatherman can give us any ideas of what the weather's going to be like early this morning. What do you think, Mike?
Since we are going slow this morning, it could take me a few minutes to explain all of this.
Weather in special English.
Yeah, we've got a few showers popping up out there. Actually, a big plume of moisture. Can we go to the satellite real quick? Because I think that shows more of what's on the way.
Boom.
Yeah, look at that big plume of moisture. It's a very weak disturbance, but the moisture associated with it and the convection seems to be pretty significant. That looks like that'll be sliding in right around lunchtime, and that should stick with us through the afternoon and into tonight.
Cool.
But maybe tomorrow as well, but it should start dying out by tomorrow, and then we go back to dry weather for the weekend.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with any of that. The afternoon rain makes my naps go so much better.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff there. 6:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches, they place roots.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
6:15 portions of the program. I'm sorry. There's part of me that wants to get started almost right away with some of the commentary on Facebook Live. Sahara Defensor sitting in a courthouse somewhere in Southern California trying to inconspicuously keep up with this election back home. Did we get 50% plus one? And the answer is right now, yes. Almost 57 of 65 precincts that have been reported in and tallied, and it is 50.11%. 50.11%, and you can do the mathematics on that. What is it, about 150 votes or something like that? Separates us right now from the world where there is not election and the post-game coverage.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to comfort you. Take care, take care, take care.
The Ray Gibson Show on the Point, also brought to you by who I got here, American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. American President Lines, they're shipping the future. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And Micronesian Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
And the most astute question of all on Facebook Live comes from Rico Blancaflor. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Has this road trip ended? Let me chew on that in just a little bit. 888-8255 is the telephone number. 988-5874 if you want to send me your WhatsApp commentary, funny memes, and there's already funny memes floating around. One of them, which I'll share with you in just a little bit. Again, 988-5874 if you've already started all of that. Yeah, this is the WhatsApp funny meme crazy video election, and I suppose. In the cold light of day and in the final analyses, and I don't know that I'm qualified to make the final analysis. I think it's going to come down to policy researchers and guys over at the University of Guam to be able to parse out every little facet of this election and say this was what contributed to that was what contributed to the other. In the meantime, though, I'll make the first draft of it, and then everybody else can take it from there. But I would like to get started with the program. Thank you, Michael Knight. He'll get the phone when you call it, 888-8255. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post. What time did you hit the sack last night? What time did you get all done?
We're not done.
Did you sleep?
Not done.
Did you sleep?
Nope.
You amaze me. You're like a journalist Superman. I tell you what. Anything interesting? I mean, outside obviously of the results, but I mean, any observations last night that you can share with the listeners?
There's still a crowd going over at Lou's place. They're doing the Zumba.
I might imagine. Bloody Marys while waiting for the final precincts. Bloody Marys, incidentally, do count for election morning breakfast. I see it. I see it. Well, there's the pictures out there to prove it, that there are still people waiting out the very, very last of the precincts. Now, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I think we were just holding out for Agate, Santa Rita, Sinahanya, and Agana Heights. I don't know how many of those precincts have been counted. I don't have that report in front of me. I can tell you that we are at 56 of 67 right now. About 83.5% of the votes that have been cast have now been counted. And it has been an interesting kind of back and forth with the numbers. The first set of numbers, and I'll give it to you from the perspective of somebody that's interested in a runoff. Because I told a guy yesterday on the radio that I would eat a bug if there was not a runoff. Personally, I hate losing bets, and also I don't like eating bugs.
That's okay. I'm collecting some very small ones.
Thank you so much. So with 10 precincts in, it was 52.4. Lou had a 52.4% lead. With 20, it had gone down to 50.7. At 32 precincts counted, it was 50.8. And when I got the, I want to call it the 4 o'clock numbers, 43 of 67 precincts voted or counted, 49.2%. So looking more and more like there was going to be a runoff. And then the 5 o'clock numbers came in. It's 50.11, 56 of 67 precincts that have been tallied so far. And if that's the case, then there won't be a runoff. It is a walk-away victory for Lou Leon Guerrero. And a point that Ismail is making this morning is if there is any moisture out there, it is the tears of everybody that is not part of the in campaign. It's the tears of my enemies. What do you want for breakfast? You want a cup of coffee? No, I'd like a cup of the tears of my enemies. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah, I know. But there's also some other stuff in it. Look at the number of people that are watching online right now. What are you doing here? All right, see if I can impart some sacred wisdom at this time and give you some of the other interesting numbers that we have in front of us. But first, let me say good morning to everybody.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
There's and I'm jumping into this late, so already half of the list of the regular early morning guys has already passed. Madeline Shelton Cannon is there, Jason Martyr, Chris from Bigger Better, Robert Ellsworth, who's trying to start World War III with this statement: "Ladies make decisions with emotion, not intelligence." Oh, it started already. Deborah Easley, who says, "Who won for governor?" It doesn't. We don't know yet, but so far, Lulian Guerrero and Josh Tenorio are in the lead. With the beaten handily would beat everybody if all they got to do is just stay over 50% plus one, and barring any other Ken conspiracies, that's what Chris calls them. Barring any other of that, we should be able to at least get close to some kind of determination prior to the certification before the end of the morning show. Vince Duenas is there. As I said, Sahara Defensor is listening online, actually watching online, I suppose. Dor Marie Fergerger and Jeff Ojeda, Terry Pablo Mallory. Frank Blas says, good morning. Well, good morning to you as well. Julian Duenas, nice to see you there. Keith Parsky has got the Facebook Live cranked up and watching what's happening in his old home, his old stomping grounds. Carmen Leon Guerrero, I see Jose Martinez. What's Keith saying? Keith says, good morning. Yeah, well, good morning to you. Jen Shimizu, Hafaday. Crystal Schnabel, Jen Schnittger. I got Ishmael, who says, moisture in the air again are the tears of those who are not in. Sahara asking the question, are we going to the Supreme Court of the United States again on an election year? On an election issue? I don't know. Might be a few hard hearts floating around, and maybe some people that are going to have a hard time accepting the results. But, I mean, when has there not been? Hey, Paul Barron, nice to see you there. Greg Massey has joined. Brad Hewitt with a note here. Camacho wins in a landslide. Dominant lead is what Kevin Kerrigan referred to it a second ago. And if you're wondering which Camacho he's talking about, that would be Leavin Camacho. JP and Mindy Elgin are there. Andy Henricks, Carl Facuda. Impressive write-in effort, to be sure.
Yeah,
to be sure. Remind me to riff on that as well a little bit later on. I got Sue Lee, Louis Cabral II, pretty Ashley Calvo Rodriguez, Kenny Williams saying good morning. What bug can I get you? Kenny, if you don't know, Kenny is exterminator.
I'm sure you would prefer a tasty bug.
A small, tasty one. I'd like a bug that tastes like a Belgian chocolate. If you can sort something like that out. Or if you can't find anything like that, how about a bud that tastes like Heineken Light, or that washes down easily with Heineken Light? Kat is there. Oh, that's Kat Nord. Carmen Leon Guerrero saying good morning. Darlene Blas, Marilyn Santos. Do it on Facebook Live. Brad, if I had to eat a bug, I would do it on Facebook Live to prove to the world that I was capable of such a thing. Who else is playing around? Do not eat a bug, even if there isn't a runoff. I just read an article about a guy that ate a slug and died.
Yeah, many slugs actually are poisonous. Not supposed to do that.
I didn't say I was going to eat a slug. I said I eat a bug. Let the conspiracy theories begin. Nick, I see you, but I'm gonna ask for a raise here. What conspiracy is there at this point? Because number one, we haven't gotten to 64 precincts, and number two, outside of some questionable black ads that I don't know had quite the impact that a lot of people thought there were. I don't know. I mean, did the lights go out at the field house at all? Or are there theories floating around about people with little red coolers that were already filled with it? Did you hear about any major irregularities that went on at the polling places last night? I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying at 6:25, I'm not hearing it. Brad says, guarantee you that if RBL brings back, that's funny. That's funny. Guaranteed now guaranteed that if RBL, which is short for Regine Bisco Lee, brings back her Kotex or tampon tax relief bill, it will pass. Frankie Gutierrez, Rita Hugo, Lynn Paris, Joe Rosario, Andrea Titano, Damian Warren, Bob Kelly's there, Daryl Taggedy, John Waslowski. Tedo at the ranch, great voter turnout, 63%. I was talking about an election that in 1974. What did I say the turnout was there? 83%. Is that what I was looking at last night? I might have it in front of me. About 83% turnout, and that was considered low because there were other elections that had taken place where the turnout was in the 90s, 91, 92%. Vince Borjas there, Angie Sharma. Nice to see everybody there. Nice to see everybody online this morning. It's 50%. I mean, when you lose by over 20 points, isn't that the writing on the wall? 50% plus one, that's what the count is, Chris, and don't start trouble now. Don't be a sore winner, would you? 627, you've heard the phrase. sore winner. And let's hope we don't hear too much more of it. So, are there some numbers that you'd like to have me recite to you if it makes you feel any better? Precincts counted out of 67. I've got 56 or 83.58% of the precincts are in and through the machines. We've got 46,000 registered voters. That turns out 29,997 ballots cast. So our number for voter turnout is 63.99. Round that up to 64, why don't you? And of 64% of the registered voters that came out to vote, the majority of them prefer the taste of the team of Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio. The Democrat team has so far garnered 14,429 votes. That accounts for 50.1%. If the remainder of the precincts come in and do not change that number, then for all intents and purposes, it's a walk-away victory for Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio. We will offer our early congratulations on that.
Yeah, with these kinds of numbers, I just don't see where there could be much room, wiggle room for conspiracy theories or even wondering about it.
Yeah, because the next biggest vote getter is Ray Tenorio, and he's got only half of what Lou has got, 7,662, and the impressive write-in campaign, and I'm sure they're kicking themselves for not starting it earlier, 6,702. Now, all say 6,702 write-in votes. That doesn't mean that Frank and Alicia received 6,702.
I think it's a fair assumption they got the vast majority.
Yeah, the vast majority of those are going to be for them. But that's the way those numbers look right now. And again, that's even less than Ray Tenorio's halfway. So if all they need to do is stay at 50% plus one, and the game is over. But who knows what's going to happen? As I said, there's some of these precincts that have not been counted, from Agate, Santa Rita, Sinahanya, and Agana Heights. And I don't know whose territory that is. I suppose that could be up for some kind of discussion at some point. But we ought to have those numbers any minute now, 6:29 in the morning. And it looks like we've got not much of a race between Mike St-Nicholas and Doris Brooks. Unless these numbers change, it looks like Mike St-Nicholas will take up residency in the 202 area code. That is the area code for Washington, D.C. now.
It is indeed.
Okay, so it looks like he might be taking up a position over there. Don't know what Doris is going to end up doing. We'll see if we can find out from people what their plans are, what their intentions are. Now, with regard to the legislature, now that's interesting here. Therese Terlahi, followed by Telena Nelson, Joe S. St. Augustine, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Mary Camacho Torres, Amanda Shelton, Regine Bisco Lee, Jimmy Moylan, Luis Munoz, Clint Rigel, Kelly Marsh, Will Castro, Sabina Perez, Tello Taitagui. That's two people from Barragata Heights live on the same street. Isn't that amazing? Adolfo Palacios, Jose Terlahi. Adolfo Palacios is number 15 here. So if you start looking at this, and I haven't done it, but it looks like it's going to be a supermajority of Democrats in the legislature and a solid majority of female senators.
Indeed.
Yeah, and so the back of the envelope analysis, as I'm looking at it right now, is probably that whoever is in charge of the Republican leadership needs to step down. I originally said in the family chat, harakiri, seppuku, huh? We'll just fail. Lost Adelup, lost Congress, but it had a shot at Congress with Doris going in there. Never did feel like there was a whole lot of push by the party in that direction, and lost even a slim margin at the legislature. We had 8. We're going from 7 down to what, 5? Is that where it was? Is that where it's going to end up with? So I think if there is one takeaway from there, I think that's going to be it. The Republicans have got their work cut out for them in the next 2 years to try to take back, and it's not just trying to take back the legislature; it's trying to get some other Republicans in a position where in 4 years they might have a shot at running against Lou Leon Guerrero. Sorry, I've got my timeline goes way off into the future. But somebody needs to start thinking about that right now. Of the 5 Republicans that might be in the legislature, which of them will be in a position to be able to cast their hat into a gubernatorial race? we'll look at some of those names and talk about that, perhaps, as we make our way through this post-election Wednesday morning. At 6:32, headlines now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, they're already waving at traffic out in front of the headquarters of Democratic gubernatorial candidate Lou Leon Guerrero and her running mate Josh Tenorio this morning. Most of the Democratic candidates are lined up along Route 1 at this hour, waving signs and claiming victory. But the final numbers are not yet in. As of 5:18 this morning, 56 of 67 precincts had been counted, and Lou Leon Guerrero continues to hold a commanding lead in the race for governor. She has regained her 50% edge after slipping below the 50% margin earlier in this morning's count. According to the unofficial results at this hour, Leon Guerrero has 50.11% of the votes cast to 26.61% for Tenorio Ada and 23.28% for the write-in ticket. 6,702 write-in ballots were cast, the vast majority of them presumed to be for the write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and Alicia Lim Tiaco. 11 more precincts left to count. No one is conceded yet. The counting continues. The final numbers with all precincts are expected within the hour. In the other races, Senator Michael San Nicolas has expanded his lead over Doris Flores Brooks in the race for the Guam delegate seat. San Nicolas has 56% of the votes cast. Brooks trails with 43%. In the contest for the Guam legislature, if the numbers hold, the Democrats could be headed for a supermajority of 10, as well as 10 who are women. The top 5 place finishers at this hour are incumbents Therese Terlahi, Talina Cruz Nelson, as well as Joe S. San Augustine. Former Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes is at 4th place right now, and incumbent Mary Camacho Torres is in 5th. For the Attorney General's slot, Levin Camacho maintains his dominant lead over Doug Moylan with 67% of the vote compared to just 33% for Moylan. Turnout at this hour stands at 64%. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you. It's 6:34 in the morning, and we'll tell you in great detail about this a little bit later on, but iConnect is giving away a vacation for 2 to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in their Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan, and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season for winning with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it? Can I get that red with AI? Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
Is there traffic? Well, I tell you what, I might be able to get you some actual video of what traffic looks like on Marine Corps Drive right now, right in front of the Lou and Josh camp. If you hold on just 1 second and let me call this thing up. Come on. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Well, maybe not. I'll get that in a second. You'll be able to see it on Facebook Live here. Where am I looking at traffic in? Leading up to the intersection of 8, 10, and 16 northbound traffic on Route 8, slowing down in front of the police station. Sorry, fire station. Might see a little bit of traffic heading up JFK Hill from the Tumon up to JFK Mart. Doesn't look like there's any major traffic in either direction through there. It just looks like there's a lot of cars that are trying to get up that hill. Will somebody stall out? Doesn't look like there's anything in front of Anderson Air Force Base, Navy Hospital, or Big Navy in Suma. At 6:36, that's right now traffic on the point.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk Headquarters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
It's 6:37 in the morning, and as I said, we stand at, 56 precincts of 64 that have been counted so far, and waiting, 67 precincts that have been counted so far, 56 of 67, 83% of the votes that have been cast have been tallied one way or the other, and at this point, there is the possibility of a walk-away win, in fact, probably greater than a possibility, depending on the nature of the precincts that come in now. The question that I'm being asked is it over yet? Will the last bunch of precincts really make that much of a difference? We're talking about fractions of percentages here, 0.11% between runoff and no runoff. I'm not prepared to say anything because, as I said, just a couple of hours ago when it was 43 of 67 precincts reporting, that number had gone down to Lou's lead had gone down to 49.2%. So anything can happen in the next little bit. Will there be a runoff or will there not be a runoff? That is the question. If there is a runoff, it seems to me that Lou's lead so far would be substantial enough to take her through that runoff period and assure her some kind of victory. So I'm not saying I hear any ladies singing, but we're certainly seeing a little bit of dancing on Marine Corps Drive. Kevin Kerrigan bounced me a video that somebody took of what looks like early morning thank you wave celebration on Marine Corps Drive right in front of Lou's spot.
Taken by David Castro, our photographer, who's been up all night.
As usual. Let's see if we can get some audio here. Hey, that's my jam. I know that song. Yeah. Do I have any more of that? I think there's a little bit more here of... walking up and down, waving. You see a variety of supporters, certainly some of the Democrats that are in. They've already got their thank yous out there. Near as I can tell, this video is fairly fresh. Just taken right after sunrise. There might still be, and you know, I like being a part of a crowd. I tell you what, at 20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning, if you don't have to be at work, if you don't have to be at school, if you don't have anything to do. There might be a victory celebration going on down in the downtown Agana area. You might want to go over there and hang out and say hello.
There's some drunk people in that crowd right there.
Well, as I said, it's okay to have a little bit of what is it? Bloody Marys, a fine breakfast cocktail. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At least that's what I'm told. So, as I said, 20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning, just waiting out the last of the precincts to go through the machines over at the election headquarters in the tabulations. And looks like there was a little bit of fireworks there last night. Kevin, you might have some details on this. Ken Leon Guerrero was there at 8:05, wanted to be a part of, I guess, the 8:05 meeting that the Election Commission had called and was escorted out by the police. That whole escorted out by the police makes it sound a little bit sinister. What's the real story on that?
That's what he said. Yeah, we talked to him last night, and he said that, you know, he had been promised a seat at the table to discuss the issue that he had raised on Monday with regards to those
Frank Blas and Alicia Limtaco
write-ins. Yeah, but they didn't consider that at the meeting last night, and so he was asked to leave.
You don't need to be here.
Yeah,
we don't have an extra badge for you.
So
you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Is how that worked out.
So they'll raise it at a subsequent meeting.
If it makes any kind of difference at all, do you suppose it did? I mean, when they finally go through it, and then there is the other part. They don't necessarily need to count any of the write-ins.
That's right.
If it's 50% plus one, they can just say, "Yeah, we got a bunch of write-ins," and
they'll eventually have to count them and record them.
We'll put it in a report that you might look at,
sometime
but it's
down
not
the road.
going to make any difference in terms of this election. So whether or not many people came in and wrote in Frank Blas or Alicia Limtaco. Yeah, that's a Saipanese spelling of the name, right? Is that what it is? 642-888-8255. 888-TALK is the telephone number. Brad says it was comical. PNC caught it live. I think I've got a link to that. I might be able to scare up a link to all of that. Debbie Canetta dancing in the streets is what they're doing in the downtown Hagåtña area. Promised is an interesting word. When he was on your show last night, then followed up by Maria, she didn't mention Ken's complaint at all when she was rattling off the meeting agenda. Mike Hernandez there. Good to see you there. Chanel Mariano Borja Salazar. Yes, I always say her entire name when I recite that on the radio as well. A lot of other people tuning in, just checking to see what it is that we know. And that's the name of the show today. Well, what do you know? We know that there is a Democratic majority, supermajority over at the legislature. Probably going to end up being 9 or 10 in the final analysis, unless there's anything super crazy that comes up in those last bunch of precincts that they're still counting over in Manilao. And it looks like it's going to be a strong showing from among the women that will be representing all of us in the legislature. And I'm trying to forecast in my head a little bit of what the world is going to be like in just a little bit in the coming months. And we get past the primary and the inauguration and all of those things because they are for the most part Democrat at the legislature, and because they're for the most part women over at the legislature, dealing probably with a Democrat woman at Adelup. Do you suppose we might finally be able to get some stuff done around here? Do you suppose we might be able to develop budgets between the two of them that make some kind of sense and don't need to come in and take any more money out of the taxpayers' pockets? What is it, Lady D? What is it that you're always asking about? Is there a way that we can all get together and try to make things easier on the taxpayers around here instead of rougher on the taxpayers? Things that will make a difference in the cost of living and doing business on Guam. Will that happen? Will we finally be able to get a bunch of people sitting around the same table with a lot of common interests and say, you know what, we do have a crime problem here on Guam, and we need to balance the solution of the crime problem between, rehabilitation and lifestyle corrections of some of the people that are using drugs around here, and maybe some harsher penalties for the people that we are able to convict of these drug crimes and the crimes against women, crimes against children, that kind of thing. Are we going to see some of that? Will we? And I'd love to see the decorating committee that comes out of this. We've had the Island Beautification Task Force, and I think Ray Tenorio has done an outstanding job of that. I think many of the most memorable things about the last 8 years of this administration has been how many vistas have been cleaned up, the number of murals that have gone up in this community, and just the ways that he and that organization, I mean, just good-looking bus stops. How about that? I hope that Josh Tenorio and others in what this new order, this new government is going to be, are able to take the leads that Ray has provided and do something with them so that we can improve not just places where the tourists are, not just the central parts of the island, but I mean just all the way deep into the villages, and give us some place that we can be proud of again. Get rid of some of this undocumented illegal dumping that's going on. Clean up the litter, clean up the villages, put some more trash cans out there. I mean, some real easy stuff that we currently find ourselves incapable of doing. And Guam Memorial Hospital, is it possible with a strong Democrat/woman-led legislature working collaboratively with a strong Democrat woman-led Adelup, is it possible that they might get some collaboration and fix once and for all Guam Memorial Hospital? Mark Mendiola, Ed Board. Yeah, and there's the easy race to call, right? There are 4 names that went up for shots on the education board, and 4 guys, 4 folks that are running, and I think that one is the easiest to call. So I want to say first to you and then to everybody else, congratulations on your victory on the Ed board, Mark.
Oh, thanks. Good morning, Ray. Yeah, it was good, man. The first time I put my hat out there to ask the people of Guam to consider me to continue on the Board of Education. So I'm honored to be working with my colleagues at decided also to run. So congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to remind me. You and Maria Gutierrez, and who else?
Lou Benaventi and James Rohan.
All right, and all four of you will find yourselves working in that board. Now, I know that you've got just from our conversations these days, I know that you've got some priorities that you would like to continue as a member of the board here, and that includes getting us off the third-party fiduciary status, doing something finally with Simon Sanchez, and as I said, you know, in a world where we've got people with a harmony of interest between the first part of the one branch of government and another branch of government, we might actually be able to get some things done. So how do we take advantage of the Democrats at the legislature and the Democrats at Adelup?
Absolutely. I think that's, it's going to be a new agenda coming in from of course, the legislature. And, as things unfold, I know the Department of Education, with us, 4 board members returning, at least there's going to be some consistency. There's going to be some vacancies on the board, so encouraging people out there that may be interested. I believe that since there's a vacancy on the elected position, that the governor will have the authority to appoint a member as well onto the board. And I do know that there are vacancies from the governor's appointed side.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, our superintendent, as we map out, how we're going to proceed for the next 2 years, basically. Of course, you mentioned third party, Simon Sanchez, and then, of course, safety is another issue that we're dealing with. But one of the biggest challenges, of course, what everybody knows is the funding for Department of Education. And so, the priorities set forth by, of course, the board and the superintendent, it has to, we got to ensure that our kids are safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the big part right now that we're faced with.
Outside of additional calls, I suppose, for expulsions, and to the degree that I don't necessarily have a problem with expulsion and getting rid of the kids that are bad seed in the schools and causing all the trouble. But where are they going to go? You expel them from one school, they've got to go somewhere else. For me, that just feels like we're shuffling the deck chairs on the safety Titanic. What are some of the other options that you guys have been considering in terms of safety?
Yeah, of course, in terms of, like I mentioned it in our oversight hearing that, this is a community problem. When you got students showing up to school intoxicated, or you have students that just have no respect for authority. Now the compulsory age is 18, so we had a case where one student, 18 years old, was sexually harassing a female student, 14. I mean, these things are put on the Department of Education to help solve. And we're up to the challenge, but like you said, it's kind of like a community problem. I know in terms of, academics and ensuring that these folks go to school and get the best possible education. So we're looking at, some ideas that were tossed out about opening up the opportunity rooms again. And we're actually even going down to the middle schools and elementary to, track our kids that are at risk, and hopefully that they don't come up to that point where in high school where it's kind of, I wouldn't say too late, but it's more difficult to have corrective action. But I know initially the JP Torres Success Academy was created as an alternative education, and some kids really thrive in that environment, those at-risk kids. And some of them that there's some really great success stories down there. And so I know we're looking at different options. We'll continue the dialogue, and as resources permit, we'd definitely like to implement some of these interventions at an earlier stage of education.
Yeah, do we need more school resource officers?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the key points that we're pushing with that supplemental budget that we requested down at the legislature. Was basically to go ahead and ask for, additional to actually convert student attendance officers to SROs. These are folks that have gone through the training, the kind of like through the court system, the marshals, the same typical training that they go through. This is just provides them an opportunity. We often have a hard time maintaining credentialed individuals because other opportunities open. For instance, if a position opens up at the courthouse, and these folks are capable of applying. So,
yeah.
Of course, that's the challenge of any organization is maintaining great people.
Well, and there was a conversation that took place earlier this year, and a lot of hopes that got dashed in terms of teacher certification, and then increases and increments they would have received as a result of maintaining and improving their certifications in the schools. You still have that problem there, where we need to start talking about how we're going to more fairly compensate teachers and instructors in the schools.
Right, and I think that's the big challenge that we have to really look at the whole picture for the entire department, and that's one of the reasons why we started doing redistricting, ensuring that we maximize our resources in the schools. And there's going to be some tough discussions coming up, especially in light of what's going on with the charter schools. With their enrollments increasing and our resources being taken away to help fund those charter schools. Eventually, we may have to start looking at consolidating.
Well, what have you guys decided? I mean, that's an interesting topic to bring up, and now here we are, the twilight of this legislature and the beginning of what I think is going to be a very interesting legislature. A lot of women, obviously, they're going to be concerned about the education for our children. The charter school concept idea looks good on paper, and it's great when you've got all of the money in the world to fund it. But if that money is coming from the other Department of Education activities and the things that you still need to prioritize and still maintain as goals in the Department of Education, how do they do that? I mean, is there the idea of going back to the legislature and saying, this doesn't work for us, you'll need to separately fund the charter schools?
Right, I think that's what we also requested for the past, at least for the 2 years that I've been on the board. I think we've been consistent in our position in terms of how do we get the adequate funding based on the 14 points that was passed by Senator Bob Kalitsky. That's his piece of legislation, that's law. And then you have the charter schools, and I don't think that was taken into consideration in terms of, putting those responsibilities on the Department of Education, because based on that law, the superintendent and the board can be, the lawsuit can be filed against us for not fulfilling those mandates. And unfortunately, when resources are taken away, of course, it comes down to priorities and maintaining a workforce, the largest workforce in the government of Guam, and basically catering to about 29,000 students on a yearly basis is pretty. It's a very big task. And when the charter schools opened up, now we got to start looking at perhaps consolidating or even possible closures of some schools because we don't have the resources. I mean, that's the harsh reality of it, and I think the community of Guam will have an opportunity to chime in if we do have to cross that bridge.
Yeah, well, I think when the lame duck administration that we have now and the lame duck administration over at the legislature, I've got a feeling that you're probably going to have to wait out that conversation until it gets to early next year. So hold your breath just a little bit longer, right?
Yeah, and that's the reason why. We got to continue to push on. I do know that we've turned our attention. I know we're supporting the superintendent, trying to get Simon Sanchez going. He laid out the phase plans of how we're going to proceed with the procurement components of the Simon Sanchez, build-up. I call it Simon Sanchez build-up. We had an opportunity to engage with their stakeholders a couple of days ago at the PTO officers. We wanted them to hear from us. The superintendent wanted to brief them as to how things would be rolled out. And so, from that point, we basically said, this is going to cause us to really focus on getting that school built for the next, get it started for the next couple of months. So with that, we're also dealing with third party. I know the superintendent's on top of that. We continue to push to get answers from Washington, D.C. Now that we have a new congressperson that will be leading the charge for us over at Washington, D.C., we hope to continue to have that.
Yeah, you need to make that one of his priorities, and we'll see if we can scare up some time with that particular candidate at some point this morning. Mark, congratulations. There's a bunch of people on Facebook Live saying, agreeing with you, nodding your head, shorten the school year to save money. Jess Limtiaco with his idea, and he also agreed with your point that it's a community problem. A lot of impoverished households. Counseling needs to be a focus. So check on some of the comments on Facebook Live for some guidance and your good luck wishes.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mark. Congratulations again. I'll talk to you soon. 6:57 in the morning, and as I'm looking at my watch and realizing that the first hour of the program is done, still no new numbers from the Guam Election Commission and the counting center. As soon as I get those numbers, we'll be sure to pass them along to you, because it's possible that by the next set of numbers will be all of it, the whole enchilada, 100% of the precincts that have been tallied, and that next set of numbers will give us a pretty clear indication on whether or not there is going to be or not be a runoff in this particular election. Now, I tell you what, I've said on the air that if there is not a runoff, I'll eat a bug. And a buddy of mine on Facebook Live is suggesting that it is a fried grasshopper that I eat. You know what? I like anything fried. We'll just dip that in some beer batter and pop it in. I might have 2 or 3 of those. And then when you're done, you take out the little leg. You can use that as a toothpick, so you can get all the other parts out. What? I don't know. You get your microphone in front of you. I thought you were going to say something. All right, that's fine. I'm watching.
How do you follow that?
I don't know. With a Heineken Light. I told you that. Whatever it is, I want it to taste good along with that. All right, so a couple of minutes, I got Fox News Live that's going to be coming up, and here we are on Guam talking about the beginning of our blue wave. There's a very strong possibility of a Democrat at Adelup for the first time in 16 years.
All the ballots have now been counted.
What do you got?
We are just waiting for the final results to be issued. That's the word from the field house.
We're just the dot matrix, waiting for the Okie Data Microline 182 to
all
spit
67 precincts have been counted now, and we're just waiting for the printout.
Could be breaking news here at any moment, and if it comes down to it, yeah, we'll stop down on the Fox News. There'll doubtless be some conversation at Fox News about what's happening in the stateside races, but we won't see the first of the precincts closing until another 3 hours or something like that. So watch out for that. Fox News Live, and then Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all of the big stories. We'll take a look at what happened on the market. Some good news coming in from there, as well as Jerry Roberts and his Extra Point. Absolutely live. We're standing by for final results. Bring them to you the second we get them. Keep listening. KUSG, I got you. Now, Fox News Live.
Breaking records. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. With control of Congress up for grabs in today's midterm elections, millions of people didn't wait for the polls to open.
Nearly 5 million ballots were cast ahead of today in the state of Texas. So that is a record-breaking number.
Fox's Casey Stiegel in El Paso.
There is this political energy here that has not been felt in this otherwise deep red state for quite some time. But the question as to whether that translates into big Democratic victories tonight, well, of course, we're going to have to wait and see about that.
Democratic Congressman Beto O'Rourke has set fundraising records in his attempt to unseat Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Tennessee also set an early voting record, and Nevada's early voting surpassing its total votes from the 2014 midterms. Florida has more than one race getting national attention. Fox's Evan Brown is live in Miami.
And Lisa, that would be the Senate race between incumbent Democrat and Trump foe Bill Nelson and Trump-backed Republican Rick Scott, currently Florida's governor. There's also the contest to replace Rick Scott between Republican Rick DeSantis and Democrat Andrew Gillum. And voting is at record turnouts, but everyone wonders what people like Tim did at the ballot box.
No, I'm not politically active. I would say I'm aware. I do keep up with the news. I do read stuff. I'm an independent, so I kind of look at different things. I'm not partisan in any particular way.
Florida's no-party affiliation voters cast nearly 1 million ballots during early voting. More are voting today, Lisa.
Thanks, Evan. He meant to say Ron DeSantis. The U.S. set to slap more sanctions on Russia over the poisoning of a former Russian spy in Britain. Russia still denies any involvement, but the State Department is now telling Congress it has not been able to certify that Russia has complied with an international chemical weapons law. This is Fox News.
Bring it to me. It's 2 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll interrupt the Fox News Live to bring you the latest from the Guam Election Commission. With 67% of 67 precincts of 67 precincts out, we have 100% of the votes that have been now counted. Lulian Guerrero and Josh Tenorio, the unofficial winners without the need of a runoff. 18,081 votes, or 50.7% of the votes cast. Ray Tenorio, Tony Adda, 9,419. That's 26.41%. And write-in received 8,161, or 22.8%. Again, Lulian Guerrero will call the unofficial winner of the 2018 gubernatorial race with 18,081 votes, or 50.7% of the votes cast, is the winner of the 2018 gubernatorial race.
Attempted election meddling is still happening.
I don't want anyone to get the impression that we are not seeing consistent efforts through foreign influence to sow discord and to present false narratives to Americans. We are seeing that.
But Homeland Security Chief Kirstjen Nielsen also says there's no indication of any compromise to the nation's election infrastructure that would prevent voting or change vote counts. A guilty verdict in a New York terror trial as Akayed Ullah is convicted of detonating the pipe bomb he had strapped onto himself in a pedestrian pathway in a New York City subway station. Fox's Steve Rappaport.
Prosecutors say the Bangladeshi immigrant wanted to maim or kill commuters and told investigators he carried out the attack in the name of ISIS. The defense arguing Ullah only wanted to kill himself and most of the injuries were not serious. Ullah came to the U.S. through family connections under a policy known as chain migration. President Trump wants to end that practice.
After the jury verdict was announced and the jury out of the room, Ullah spoke out, telling the judge he was angry with President Trump for saying he would bomb the Middle East. The judge telling Ullah it wasn't the right time for a statement. The future of flight is being tested in the skies above Galveston, Texas.
That future depends on how residents along the Texas Gulf Coast react. NASA is in the midst of 2 weeks of research involving quiet supersonic flights. Normally, aircraft that fly at speeds faster than Mach 1 are prohibited over land because of loud sonic booms. NASA test pilots are flying research aircraft in unique maneuvers to reduce that boom to a thump. The goal is to see how people and sensors react to that sound. Positive feedback would eventually open the skies to faster commercial flights, cutting current travel times in half. Kevin Battle, Fox News.
On Wall Street, the Dow up 173 points at the closing bell, topping 25,600. Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Super Typhoon U2 has become one of the strongest storms on record to date. APL recognizes the damage that U2 has left behind and sees an opportunity to help our neighboring brothers and sisters in the CNMI. We humbly ask for the community's assistance in providing donations and supplies to our fellow islanders. All supplies can be dropped off to our APL office or coordinated for pickup and loading. Call 588-4651 for more details and to learn how you can help today.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times, or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Konnichiwa! We'll be celebrating the 39th Japan Autumn Festival on Saturday, November 17th, 2 to 9 p.m. at the Governor Joseph Flores Beach Park or Ipao Park in Dumont. Parking will be available across Oka-Payless with free shuttle service starting at 1:30 p.m. Advance tickets available now at the Japan Club of Guam office located on the first floor of PM Marine. Once again, the Japan Autumn Festival at Ipao Beach Park, November 17th from 2 to 9. Come join us. For information, call 646-8066. Thank you to our platinum sponsor, Bank of Guam, and the radio stations of Choice Broadcasting.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan, and here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The unofficial final results are now in. All 67 precincts have been counted, and the Democratic gubernatorial team of Lou Leon Guerrero and her running mate Josh Tenorio hold on to just over 50% of the vote, making them the unofficial winners of the 2018 gubernatorial election without the need for a runoff. The final numbers are Lou and Josh with 18,081 votes. That is 50.7% of the total cast. Ray Tenorio and Tony Atta coming in with 9,419 votes, 26.41% of the total votes cast, and write-in votes total 8,161, 22.88% of the total. Most of those write-ins presumed to be for the write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and his running mate Alicia Limtiaco. The Lou and Josh team already out along the sidewalk in front of their Agana headquarters waving thank you signs at the traffic along Route 1 in Agana celebrating their victory. In the other races, Senator Michael San Nicolas has taken the lead and is the unofficial winner in the delegate race over Doris Flores Brooks. San Nicolas with about 54% of the votes cast, Brooks trailing with just 44%. In the contest for the Guam legislature, the Democrats holding on to an unofficial supermajority of 10. 10 seats have gone to female candidates as well. And the top 5 finishers at this hour: Therese Terlahi, Talina Cruz Nelson, Joe S. San Augustine, former Senator Tina Munya Barnes, and Mary Camacho in 5th place. Attorney General Levin Camacho, the dominant winner in the Attorney General's race over Doug Moylan. Turnout about 64% for this 2018 election. We'll have more news after this.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho, ho, ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. In news from the courts this morning, Robert Isaac Revels charged yesterday in Superior Court with the Monday burglary of EA Engineering's rented storage space in Barrigada and the burglary of a home in Chalampago last week. In that home burglary, the owner told police he saw Revels holding his 6-gallon gas container and his Sony DVD player, which Revels then dropped and fled after being spotted. Revels was eventually arrested Monday when police responded to a complaint of a suspicious vehicle at the EM Chen building in Lower Barrigada Heights. The vehicle had 2 different license plates. The police then saw the lights were on in the building, and a storage room rented by EA Engineering had been damaged. Officers entered that storage room, found Revels and a second suspect identified as Seong Min Cho. Both men were arrested. Revels charged with 2 counts of burglary with a special allegation of committing a felony while on felony release. Cho was charged with burglary as well. In district court, meanwhile, on Monday, closing arguments were heard in the drug conspiracy retrial of Raymond Martinez and Juanita Mosier. Attorneys Pete Perez and David Lujan represent the pair, who are both alleged to have plotted to bring 8 pounds of crystal meth into Guam from California in 2015. The first trial for Martinez and Mosier ended in a hung jury last May. Both defense attorneys arguing that their clients were entrapped by the government, and they questioned the character of key prosecution witness and former Guam Customs Officer Henry Alvendia. Alvendia was charged with receiving bribes and kickbacks. He agreed to cooperate with the prosecution in return for a lesser sentence. However, Assistant U.S. Attorney Fred Black emphasizing in his closing arguments that the best evidence against the pair came from the defendants themselves. He said Martinez meticulously planned every detail of the conspiracy while Mosier aggressively pursued Alvendia's cooperation due to his position with Guam Customs. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
Yeah, I think it's, we're in for partly, you like that? Stick that in there? We're in for partly cloudy skies and isolated showers, becoming mostly cloudy, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms tonight. Northeast winds 15 to 20 miles an hour, daytime highs around 90 degrees and overnight lows of about 78 degrees. Sunset 5:52 and sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:16. Any ideas about heat indexes there today, buddy?
I don't think we're going to have to worry about the heat index much. This mass of clouds, I'm looking right now on the Marianas radar on my other computer screen. It looks like this stuff's going to be rolling in right around the end of the show. And, of course, as that coincides with the peak heating of the day, there's just not going to be enough sunshine to heat things up that much this afternoon. So it looks like a bit of a damper for your afternoon activities. But, gosh, we haven't had rain in, 2-3 days? So it's okay.
The only thing that needs to take place this afternoon, and some of it has already happened on Marine Corps Drive, is the thank you waves from all of the successful candidates in all of the different races. That's the only thing that I think needs to happen at any point today is all of that. 7:14, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
I got that. Go have some sinigang today. Your celebration bowl of sinigang is waiting for you at King's Restaurant. That's the big lunchtime special on Wednesdays. Tomorrow's meatloaf. The day after that is Friday, and that's beef tinaktak. Quickly, it's amazing how fast I think the next couple of days are going to go, if you know what I mean. Enjoy your lunches on those couple of days at King's.
At the heart of everything we do is our mission to improve the life of every child. From mungy nennies to growing teens, they'll be in trusted hands at FHP Health Center, where we offer comprehensive pediatric services to nurture and protect your child's health from day one. Begin your little one's journey to good health at FHP with seasoned pediatricians and professional staff who hold decades of combined experience. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
The Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with, yes, American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs, and American President lines. They're shipping the future.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Let's take a look at the Facebook Live and see who's joined us in the recent little bit. I see partner Richard Yu is there. Sahara Defensor with a question that I'd be happy to answer. Can I come home now? Yeah. And if you're wondering what that is in reference to, it is in reference to very, very early in the Calvo Tenorio administration, and there was a big dust-up in an office that was caught on tape that everybody ended up listening to, and as was the case, Sahara found it difficult to find employment here, and went off to go and conclude her studying, and now that that's all done, and maybe now that this is done, yeah, you come home anytime. I see Deborah Weger is there, Joyce Krause off of Merce Greeno, Laney Beneventi, Cousin Ted wondering if Governor Lou, unofficial, you got to put that in there. Unofficial Governor-elect Lou will keep her promise to shut down the game rooms. Wow. Huh. You know, it's possible. And
it's Jesus Day.
I'll go over the possibilities in a little bit. Tedo also asking any word from Ken Leon Guerrero. Brad Hewitt says, will Ken demand a recount to see how close to second he really got? Even though it's pointless, I can see that, just so he can say the system is flawed in some way. Rose Bill Murphy, Sergeant at Arms. Brad says he has to go to jail last night when he finished blowing hot air to PNC. Who knows what happened? Francie Salas is there. Lola Munoz. Hey, I know you. All of the sisters got together and took pictures of their I voted badges that they got yesterday. Neats, Jennifer, J.G. Taiminglu saying, "Hoi Ray from Hawaii. Good to see you." Shelley Gibson says, "Let's bring back George Macris." Actually, Macris wasn't Macris's biggest problems in the Camacho administration. He could have come back, I think, any time in the last 8 years. And Dan, Anita, Ganji, Cruz. Good to have you guys on Facebook Live, and some interesting comments that are going back and forth. Now that we are in that transitional period, in case you missed it in the newscast, the interruption of Fox News, we have an unofficial new governor-elect for Guam. Her name is Lou Leon Guerrero. Her running mate is Josh Tenorio. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about we are at the cusp of history. We have, after they have certified the results over at the Guam Election Commission, we will be able to say that Guam has elected its first woman governor of Guam. This is historic, and happy to be a part of bringing you the news and talking about the election all of these last few months. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to talk about a new administration and an interesting administration. Look, I must say it like this. A couple of things that I wanted to get out of here off my chest is, number one, whoever's in charge of the Republican Party, step down. Mm-hmm. You lost Adelup. You've lost the legislature. You lost a shot at Congress. That's you want to talk about fail. Yeah. Absolute fail. And somebody says, wow, coming from a Republican, I'm a conservative.
I got to tell you something about the election. It makes me really sad.
What's that?
I'm not going to get to use this.
What is it? Yeah, we'll always be able to use Eric the War Eagle.
But not as much.
Probably not as much. I don't know. At some point, I'll find leaving and we'll talk about, non-crime, you okay there? Okay, all right. Jerry Roberts in the studio. We're going to do the Extra Point live, but non-crime, non-prosecutorial things that they need to do over at the Attorney General's office. I'm almost positive that Eric the Eagle is still there. I don't see why you can't do that. Shelley says, Amazon bulk order of budgets for dummies to be sent to 163 San Santo Papa. Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of newness, or at least some new feelings that we're going to be having. But the other thing that I wanted to say, and I'll say it again, guys. If we can't solve, what's that old song, the Paul Young song? If we can't solve any problems. If we with a Democrat woman at Adelup and a legislature that is a supermajority of Democrats and a supermajority of women can't get things done in the next couple of years, give up. Mail the Organic Act back, because we're just completely incapable. I would hope that this doesn't become one of those mean girls over at Adelup versus the mean girls over at the legislature. Don't need that. Got great opportunities to work together. And somebody talking about budgets. Let me also say this about that. I have never been in a relationship where I did not want the woman running the money in the house, because they're better at it than me. I blow all of mine on Slim Jims and Mountain Dews and cold beer, and they know how to prioritize and buy the important things, like, I don't know, food, and pay tuition for the kids,
Gotcha.
and make sure that they have clothes and shoes on their feet. So I am hoping, fingers crossed, that's the future that we're going to see, at least for the next couple of years.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, a lot of us were wrong. A lot of us I predicted there would be a runoff.
So did I. And I've already
think...
decided I'm putting in my order now for fried grasshopper.
He said he'd eat a bug.
I'd eat a bug.
Okay. How close was it?
What's 50.7%.
So it went up then.
Yeah, from where it was earlier, there was a lot of back and forth. It went from 52.4, a high of 52.4, then down to 50.7, 50.8, 49.2, and then it started going back up, 50.1, and then and now back at 50.7.
Okay. Well, there's about 100 people down there now.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I mean, you'd think there'd be a lot more. They're all sleeping, I think, right now. But they still had 100 people down there, and they're celebrating and all of that. So, congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to all who participated. What was the final?
63%. Is that what it was?
63%.
Let me double check.
66.3%.
66.3.
That is. We'll maybe have an extra point about that. We were looking at a lot lower.
Yeah, we were hoping it would be up around 75, which would have brought out 42,000 votes.
Why would 1 in 3 stay home?
There's 1 in 3 that stayed. There's 1 in 3 that stayed home. But there's also about 1,000 people that undervoted. That means that did not vote for governor.
Interesting.
Cast a blank ballot.
Well, and there'll be some conversations about that.
Oh, well, listen, we're talk show experts, right? Yeah. We're going to find conversations about any number of things. All right, real quick, let me take a look at what happened on the market, where oil is right now, the S&P 500 at 27.55, and NASDAQ in the green by at 7,375. Dow Jones Industrial Average, 25,635, picked up 173 points, and then we'll see where the numbers go, and now that those markets are closed, the next couple of big benchmarks, time-wise, that we need to start looking at, is what time will all of the election precincts and polling places begin closing across the country. First one's going to be closing at 7 o'clock Eastern time, which is just a couple of hours from where we are right now, and we'll watch and see if the blue wave on Guam is going to catch and turn into a blue wave across the mainland.
Usually it's the other way around. Whenever Guam does, the mainland does the other
mainland does the opposite. So yeah, we'll watch and see where that's going to go. There's a lot of the conventional wisdom from certainly among the liberal press is that there's going to be a massive blue wave, and the Democrats are going to retake the House. We're sending at least one Democrat to the House. Not that he's going to have a vote or a whole lot to do there, but we are sending a Democrat off in that direction. Nikkei's in the green by 248 points, 22,147. The Hang Seng is 186 points in the green. Shanghai down, DAX is down. On oil, the number just continues to look better and better. $62.19 for a barrel of West Texas crude, and you keep your fingers crossed, and maybe we'll see that number under 60 next week. Don't have any new numbers for Tappa, still at $74.73.
Oh, that price has got to go down. Two reasons. It's 74, and because a new governor has been elected, the oil companies must get together today and lower the oil prices, or gasoline prices. They have to do it.
Look, there's a possibility. There are now 10 Democrats and 10 women at the legislature. Maybe not now, but among the first things that they can do is start looking at some of the cockamamie bills that have been passed in the last couple of years over in this legislature and start backing off of them, like the increase in the liquid fuels tax, and see where that goes. But I think the other thing is it will be interesting to see, and this is the important part. Now that it looks like we've got an unofficial winner in the gubernatorial race, the questions that I have are still valid today as they were last week. Who are you putting in charge of revenue and tax? Who are you putting at GITA? Who are you putting at GVB? Who is going to be the next person that is going to be the chief of police, chief of the fire department, guy over at GITA or girl over at GITA? It doesn't make any difference, but it's time to start putting faces and names to the roles of the next government.
They know who it is already. They've already offered those jobs. We know that. So I think since they've been unofficially selected as the governor, lieutenant governor, I think they ought to come on your show tomorrow and unofficially tell who's going to be in those jobs. No?
Anybody here want a job in a new administration? We'll see. It's 7:27, and we've got just enough time for Jerry Roberts and today's Extra Point.
There is one thing I'm absolutely positive of, that being negative has a huge impact on the workplace. Not talking about politics yet. Not talking about politics now. Let's chew on this on the Extra Point. How does negative behavior impact workers? Can it add discouragement, frustration, and impact productivity? It absolutely can and does. Let's get into it and some steps to take if it's an issue where you are in work. Negativity can suck us in. As much as we like to think that we always try to take the high road with everybody, most of us can be drawn into conversations that are negative, and we join in. You say, no, Jerry, not me, never me. Well, have you ever been in the presence of one or more people and the negative stuff starts flying around, and all of a sudden, you find yourself chiming in? It happens. The solution? When a negative conversation breaks out around you, get up and grab a cup of water, or ask the boss a question, or tell coworkers you're busy and need to concentrate. The main thing is just to stay out of it. If you're a supervisor, you could ask the status of a report or project, or in some way redirect the conversation. If you do that enough times, people will eventually get the message. I've spoken to numerous business owners and managers who admit their organization has a higher level of negativity than they're happy with, but they don't want to make a big deal about it, as they believe that could make things worse. I tell them this: just like a positive workplace can be inspiring and invigorating, a negative organization can be disillusioning and draining. If you sense the mood in your place is bothering people, ask them. A lot of workers won't come to you about this, and many may figure that you're either oblivious to it or you're aware and don't care. A negative atmosphere can help drive good workers away. If people quit, always conduct an exit interview, and one of the questions should be on the positive-negative issue. Isolate the negativity to a certain group or individual and find out what's really going on. Is there general unhappiness, and is it for a good reason? Or are they just gossiping? Is it bullying? When you know, make the correct response. If it's two people teaming up to generate the negativity and they work near to each other, separate them. I've known with managers who split folks up into separate rooms and even separate buildings. Other members of the team thank them. Some people are just naturally negative. It's who they are. Others are worriers. You can usually make progress with these people and reduce the impact on them and their impact on others. Some people are troublemakers, though they are relatively few. Control them, separate them, and in extreme cases, you may have to invite them to continue their careers elsewhere. You can get a handle on negativity. Stay with it, and you'll get there. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Well, thank you very much. And again, thanks very much for coming in last night. And
it was fun.
Wasn't that crazy fun?
It was fun.
Yeah. No information other than what we knew in our heads to be true from passing by a couple of places. But yeah, it was kind of an enjoyable get together. Shooting the bull with Bob Klitsky, doing a little bit of historical look backs at where we are now.
Yeah.
And people will remember as we crossed the date line here on Wednesday, the 7th of November, that the history was made here on Guam.
So congratulations to 67% or whatever it is of the people who decided to come out. Congratulations to all those who successfully garnered office.
Yep.
And congratulations to those who didn't win and participated and tried hard. And congratulations to Guam, and let's move on.
Yeah, well, we got the holidays to get through, and inaugurations to plan, and all of those kinds of things. It certainly is an interesting morning for a lot of people. Mike St. going to Washington, D.C., replacing Congresswoman Madeline Z. Bradalio, and then the other parts of the races that we were looking at. Levin Camacho with, shall I say it again, Dave, a dominating lead over Doug Moylan to become our next Attorney General of Guam.
Yep.
How about that? There's a big deal there, and we'll go through the numbers and the names that are represented, people that are going to be representing us.
Anybody on the bubble? Who's 15 and 16?
I got Tello at 14 and Jose Terlahi, I think, at number 15. I think there's Adolfo Palacios, the screenshot that I've got now. There it is. Yeah, Jose Terlahi at number 15, and that's 11,840. The next highest vote getter is Sel Babauta with 11,768. So there's a reasonable difference between the two of them. Yeah. The difference between Jose and Tello.
So did your vote matter? The 1/3 that didn't come out? Maybe.
You never know.
Never know.
It's all done, and you're not allowed to complain about the outcome of the race if you didn't go out and vote.
If you didn't go out and vote,
they kept the places open till 8 o'clock last night.
Yes,
so
sir.
There's no excuse not to have gone out and done it. That's Jerry Robert, friends, and he does the extra point. We'll get him back on the radio at some point, probably tomorrow about the same time, to do exactly that. Kevin Kerrigan's got headlines to give you a look at traffic next.
Circle K now offers Pop's Bake Shop products, cream cheese rolls, malasadas, delicious donuts, and more. Come see why Pop's Bakery is a Southern gem. Circle K, take it easy. Circle K now offers Bento Chef Sushi. Enjoy a selection of sushi, maki, and musubi made fresh every day. Circle K, take it easy.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Yeah, we don't need to do a full-blown traffic report. There's frankly not much going on here. I got a little bit of a lineup in front of Navy Hospital. Some of the usual spots coming out of Dededo are beginning to back up and not necessarily slow down. There's just a lot of traffic out there. Definitely seeing some slowing down on Route 3 as you make your way towards GRMC and Marine Corps Drive. Nothing between Chicken Joy and there, so it should be smooth sailing once you get out of Route 3 and then on to Marine Corps Drive or wherever your destination takes you. It's 7:34. And time now for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the unofficial final results are in. All 67 precincts have been counted, and it's a clean sweep for the Democratic Party of Guam. Across the board, the Democratic Party winning Adelup for the first time since 2002 with the election of Lou Leon Guerrero, the first female governor of Guam. Democratic Senator Michael San Nicolas is headed for Washington, D.C. as Guam's delegate to the U.S. Congress. And Democrat Levin Camacho takes over at the Guam Attorney General's office. The final unofficial, uncertified numbers reported just after 7 a.m. this morning. The numbers are Lou and Josh with 18,081 votes. That is 50.7% of the total cast, ensuring that there will not be a runoff election. Ray Tenorio, Tony Atta coming in with 9,419 votes, 26% of the total, and the write-in votes totaling 8,161, about 23% of the total votes cast. Most of those write-ins presumed to be for the write-in team of Senator Frank Huggan Jr. and his running mate Alicia Limtiaco. The Lou and Josh team already out along the sidewalks in front of their Agana headquarters, waving thank you signs at the traffic along Route 1. In the other races, Senator Michael San Nicolas claims victory in the Guam delegates race with 55% of the vote, finishing ahead of Doris Flores Brooks, who ended with 44%. In the contest for the Guam legislature, the Democrats will have a supermajority of 10 of the 15 seats. A majority of the lawmakers are women for the first time, 10 female senators winning election. The top 5 place finishers in the legislature are incumbents Therese Terlahi and Talina Cruz Nelson, followed by incumbent Joe S. San Augustine, then former Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes winning re-election in 4th place. In 5th place, incumbent Mary Camacho Torres. For Attorney General, Levin Camacho with a dominating victory over Doug Moylan, 68% of the vote claimed by Camacho, 32% for Moylan. Turnout, 66.3% of the voters turned out. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thank you, Kevin. iConnect giving away instant prizes with their new 12-month mobile, internet, and push-to-talk plans. You'll also be entered in the Connect and Win drawing for a vacation for 2 to Manila. Call 888-8888 for details.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Yeah, traffic getting worse on Route 3. It stopped short. It was just building up over at the intersection. Looks like it's slowed down everywhere on Route 3, around from Ukadu all the way to Marine Corps Drive. Getting into the downtown Hagutney area might get a little bit slow around the Tidzin intersection over by Cars Plus. Don't know why, but southbound traffic is a little bit snarled there. You see some slowing down and a little bit more traffic from about where the post office is all the way through the intersection of 8, 10, and 16 until you get to that one good intersection in front of Tidzin. Northbound Route 8 also a little bit heavy on the way into the intersection at 8, 10, and 16. Traffic at both in both directions at the intersection of 10 and 15. A little bit busy right now, watching traffic begin to build up there. Traffic again building up in front of Navy Hospital as well. What have I got? I got an ugly line of traffic from around where Estumbo is all the way into Marine Corps Drive. So expect some slowing down there. Maybe is there waving going on? Are there thank you waves? Or the other ones, the losers out there going, What? Couldn't spare a vote for me. What's the matter with you? 7:38, that's right now. Traffic on the point.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Yeah, there's a lot of observations that we can make from this election and the results, unofficial as they are so far. Jess Limtiaco rating seems like it'll be the Mully system with all the women in office right now. Maybe we can get some sympathy vote to repeal the taxes that you threw at us, talking about the new folks over at the legislature, just the changes over at the legislature. Got a couple of B-backs. Tina Rose Munya-Barnes finds herself another seat at the legislature, as does Tello Taitagui. Tello, good to get herself back into the legislature in this bout here, and a number of new names. Obviously, there are some incumbents that found their way back. Anybody get kicked out of the legislature? Anybody get no, it doesn't look like it. But at any rate, we've got an interesting new first freshman class that's going to be coming in, led by Amanda Shelton. There's Jimmy Moylan in there. Clint Rigel, who should have an easier time getting into the operations over at the legislature, having covered it for a number of years. Dr. Kelly Marsh, Sabina Perez, and Jose Terlahi. Brand new members of the legislature, and we anticipate there's going to be some interesting things that will come up from there. In 19 minutes, it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning, and we offer our congratulations to a number of folks in other races that found themselves re-elected or elected, as the case may be. Mike Liptiaco, new member of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, joins Francis Santos and Simon Sanchez. Good morning, Si. Congratulations on your re-election.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you to the people of Guam. They speak with wisdom and enthusiasm, and it was quite a night for everyone. I've been texting a lot of people. We'll be working with lots of lady leaders now, and that'll be good. We'll see how that goes. The congratulations to, looks like Lou and Josh got their 50% plus one, and my heart goes out to those that don't make it. The gubernatorial teams. Congratulations to Mike and Nicholas. What a year ago, if someone said he was going to beat Madeline and Doris, they would have said, what?
Right.
Boy, he has shown a new way to run for office, a new way to reach out, and just very, very impressive. But my heart goes out to Doris. I know she worked hard, and she has served well. But, the people have said they want to go in a different direction, and we'll see how that works. We want all of our elected leaders to be successful because they want to be successful for us. The problems will be daunting. When we all get some rest and the smoke clears, the issues of while there's a majority of women and there's lots of Democrats and there's lots of positives you can take out of this. The decisions will still be challenging, and that's where the rubber hits the road, and we'll see how that works out. But for today, the people of Guam won yesterday. They made some choices. There's some disappointment, I'm sure. But, let's all come together now and rally behind those we have selected. We've asked them to make our lives better. I'm recommitted. I'm grateful this is my 5th term in the CCU. We have lots of work to do. We have lots of problems still to fix. I was happy to join social media this election because I really got to hear more perspectives from our ratepayers, and I'm going to keep my website open because we still have things we've got to fix until we get 100% of happiness, if we can achieve that. But just thank you, and thank you, Ray, always giving me an opportunity to speak. But lots of sujus masi, maraming salamat po. Just thank you, Guam. And now let's get some rest. I'm dropping on Lou off at work. I got to go to work. There's a lot of work to do.
Preparations to make, obviously, for what I think is going to be an interesting future. And I keep pressing on the opportunities that we have because we've had this blue wave here on Guam. I think that's the way I kind of want to refer to it. There is going to be so much in common between the two branches of government right now. In fact, the 3 branches of government. We've got a female sitting at the Chief Justice's office, right?
Chief Justice. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, how about those high vote getters, Anita Sokola and
Judge Merriman?
Justice Merriman. They kicked butt. Although I had to chuckle because when I went to bed at 4, I was just looking at some of the numbers, but their numbers were so high, the 2 judges, as you would expect. But it always proves to me that you can always find 15% of anybody to vote against anything.
Right.
I think if God ran for office, he still might have 15% saying, I ain't voting for you for some reason. Our people are wise, and I think this is the first turnout below 70, but we got it to 66, and I hope that there's lots of things to think about in the future. We have the runoff impact. You have the issues of maybe some places allow you to vote earlier, and you don't have to do it all in one day. And one of the things I noticed is an election on Saturday versus a primary election on Saturday versus a general election on Tuesday. And, you know, the private sector gets off at 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Teachers get off 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Trying to get to Denville, get in line, go through all of that parking. Does it discourage participation? Although you and I know that just about any county or state in the union would love 66% turnout. The presidential would love 66% turnout. So, you know, our people participate, they pay attention, and now they've spoken, and the work remains, and all of us that have been voted in, voted out, voted back in, just need to remind our winners that the people of Guam are demanding, and they expect you to continue to try to help them, and if you don't, they'll let you know about it.
Yeah, and there's some people, I think, that heard loud and clear that there were demands and expectations of some kind of change. But as the point that I was getting at is I'm very hopeful that we will see a whole lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not so much activity, but I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. If we can't get a women-led Adelup working collaboratively with a women-led legislature, and they're all Democrats. Like I said, we need to mail the Organic Act back. There's a unique opportunity here to finally get some of the results that the people have been asking for in terms of our community, our environment, crime, budgets, things like that. And I can't. It would be a shame if the administrations of the two branches didn't work very well together.
And that's our hope. I mean, we always want them to work together. The Democratic Party has their mandate, and I think part of it began with they ran great candidates, and while we say the women versus men, it all begins with great candidates. And women came out, and women said we're gonna go for this, and boy, did they succeed, and they put up, and there were some great candidates. So I'm not sure if it's part of a wave. I think the wave was just new faces said I want to try to help. And the results are very compelling, and now we all have to work together. I charge with, she's been called Mother Nature forever, and we men have never really been in charge. The ladies let us think we're in charge, but they've always been in charge. Women can make men do things that men would never do for each other. So, I have a lot of faith in our people, and I know many of the people that have won, and especially the new ones. I'm excited to see what they'll do. I think they will get some rude awakenings. The money, the budget, the revenue challenges didn't get better this morning just because you made the top 15. You're gonna, and Lou's got, she's got her hands full, Lou and Josh, in doing it. It wouldn't matter who would win for governor. Our fiscal challenges have been around for many, 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 many years. They always are going to be a challenge. There's always more demand for government services than we have the tax revenue to pay for. You want to cut the liquid fuels tax, but how are you going to pay for roads that we all drive on every day going, whoa, these roads need help? And how do you balance all of that?
I tell you what, if Lou is the person, is the manager that she told everybody that she was, she will find people that will take over the reins from Glenn Leon Guerrero at the Department of Public Works and make it so that these guys will be able to turn that department around. Hopefully that she's got an idea of who she wants to send to run the shop over at Guam Memorial Hospital. That will be able to turn the place around. She didn't like Frank's idea of a receivership appointment or hiring out. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of curious as what this woman now from the business community is going to do at Gita, who will replace Jay Rojas there and continue the work of trying to bring in new, better, higher paying job industries to Guam.
I think the fiscal reality will be the biggest challenge for all of the new administration and the legislature, because the numbers are daunting. I mean, the GRT is still at 5. The fuel tax went up. People want to roll them back. Well, if you roll them back, how are you going to fund all these things you want to do at Public Works and the hospital? I mean, those dilemmas, remain. But, Lou's got a lot of experience. Josh is, yes, a rookie in terms of being elected, but Josh has been around. He's been involved in administrations, and, and the advisors to Lou and Josh have some strong players. And I hope they reach out to, Republicans that have capability and independents. I mean, now it's coming together, and the chance to reach out across party lines and I saw a little bit of Lou's, speech this morning, and she thanked Ray and Frank and thanked everyone, and Alicia and Tony, just for trying. I mean, everyone gets an A for effort. It's easy to sit in the bleachers and say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. These folks put their they went out there. They got the biggest disappointment, I think, for anyone that loses is for your supporters. You just feel so bad. They worked so hard to help you, and you didn't make it, and yet, so God love them.
Yeah, well, I recognize that might be the tough part. Speaking of the losing side now, just as a couple of conservative buddies, a couple of Republican buddies here talking on the radio, we've now lost Adelup and held it for 16 years. That's gone. Don't have there was a shot at a Republican running in for Congress and turning that into something, and a shot certainly at getting more Republicans in the legislature, and that was fail as well. So what will the Republican Party of Guam need to do in the next couple of years to make sure that they are still viable moving into the next gubernatorial election? I mean, in 2000 and what year is it? 18 in 2022. Who are the Republicans going to field for a shot at Adelup?
Well, like anything else, if you watch it long enough, I mean, we went to FD, and what is it? The Phoenix shall rise. Parties, ebb and flow. Parties grow, parties regress. But from any failure comes new opportunities for new people to step forward. I don't think it's the end of the Republican Party, but I think a lot of healthy discussion will also go up, I think, into this issue of the partisan nature of politics versus those that aren't partisan and aligned who would like to serve. Maybe that will all change. Maybe it will be easier. Like, for example, I'm a big proponent of a part-time legislature, and anyone can run. I feel for, like, Senator-elect Sabina Parrish. She has to quit her job as a teacher to run for senator. Well,
right.
What's wrong with having teachers in the legislature? But you can't do it if it's full-time, right? So those are examples of conversations. You had the runoff situation, very close. It almost happened. So what happens to, should the process be changed about how we select the candidates that go into the general election? There's been a lot of healthy discussion about that. But, with the newness comes from the new elected leadership. They're not afraid to look at these new ideas, and maybe they will, and maybe they'll come up with solutions people hadn't thought about. But it's still education, health, public safety, your wallet,
yep.
Your quality of life, your income, all those things will remain a challenge. And one of the things I've realized in the utility business, is you do everything to reduce costs, and it's really tough on many people. And some of that is an income issue. In other words, you can get costs as low as you can get it, but it's not always, you can't get it for free. Yet there will still be people that struggle because of the income side of the equation. How do we work on that income side of the equation? And how do you take care of the needy, those on fixed incomes who aren't able to grow their income? How do you take care of them while creating an economy and an environment in which wages rise? But the wages have to rise with an economy that rises. You can't just grab it out of the existing economy and say everybody makes $20 an hour,
right,
just for a new job. So all of those things are, they're not easy solutions. And a lot of smart people and a lot of dedicated people have been working on those things for many, many years, and the challenge remains in front of us. But
well, that's that, and I hope maybe we can chip away at some of that challenge in the next couple of years with people with, as I said, harmony of interest. Si, again, congratulations to you, and a big kiss to Auntie Lou.
And congratulations. She's sitting next to me listening. And congratulations to our people for coming out, speaking out, and now it's up to us that have been chosen to serve them.
I'll see you pretty soon. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Get some sleep. Speaking of rest, 7:54 and some interesting points he brought up there. And yeah, I can see it. I can see the challenges. I'm not crazy about new taxes. I'm not crazy about having to pay more for my gasoline and still have to deal with some roads that are in lousy shape. And I want to have changes to that kind of thing. But where is that tax base going to come from? Otherwise, if it doesn't come out of my pocket, where is it going to come from? And so the important question here is who is going to be in charge of the Department of Revenue and Taxation? Lou. Who is going to be in charge of GITA to bring in some of those industries that you were talking about that will have higher paying jobs? It's great. We're opening up great new restaurants and we've got great new shopping in front of us, but the people that are working there are doing just a little bit better in most cases than minimum wage. And in that case, we're not going to see a whole lot of money additional revenue circulating around the rest of the economy. We need some high tech jobs. We need to bring in some positions around here, some industries where the positions will drive $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 incomes.
Speaking of money, now that Lou looks like she's going to be our governor.
Yeah.
We know she's going to back off of the Bank of Guam. That's understandable.
She said she's going to divest her interests there.
But what does that mean for the government of Guam? Because I know they get most of their loans from Bank of Guam. Will they now kind of stop doing that just to avoid?
They're like some rainy day loans that they've gotten. The government of Guam's got to put a checking account somewhere so they can write checks from whatever the taxes are that come in. But the majority of the borrowing that we do around here is bond-based borrowing. So we'll go out into if they need some working capital and they've got 5 or 6 people over it. Just at the Bank of Guam. Lou's got him on speed dial on the phone, and she can call him up and say, take a look at what we are already obligated to. What can be refinanced? What can be eliminated? How do we get out from under this particular debt? And then put yourself in a position where you can borrow some more money and maybe use some of that to fund some of the early projects that she's got going. That's the way I do it. I wouldn't reach into the Bank of Guam coffers and take out any new notes. And frankly, I think a lot of people would be looking for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think to just reduce the appearance of any sort of misappropriation, the Lou...
Well, there's plenty of other banks. As she stated in the commercial, and this is an important point, is the banking business is highly regulated, and there are banking commissioners that will come in from time to time and take a look around and see what's going on. 7:56. There are some other interesting questions that are left behind as we start to look at some of the numbers and some of the positions, and a couple of notes. In my head, and I'd mentioned this to my sister Mara while I was underneath the Bota tent yesterday, getting the last of my free fundraising food. There's not going to be any more fundies. I got to tell you, in the last bunch of months, I've really enjoyed attending many of the fundraisers, and I mean, I'm sure there will always be a good excuse to go hang out with Phil over at the venue. But it was always kind of cool to go and do the fundraising thing for a variety of candidates. Some who really needed the money, and others who just, I think, were throwing fundraisers just because they had a good time doing it. And somewhere at Mana's house, I think there's a slow cooker that she won for me at one of these fundraisers that she had. So I will lament the passing of that phase of the election process. I enjoyed a whole bunch of fundraisers that took place, and I'm sad to hear that there aren't going to be any more, unless you are among the 15 that didn't make it into the 35th Guam legislature unofficially. You might want to start campaigning now for the 36th Guam legislature. And I'd asked a question out loud when referring to the failure of the Republican Party of Guam in this election. I'd asked a question out loud: who will they begin to start grooming? There's going to be another gubernatorial election in 2000. I told you my timeline is long, right? Lou Leon Guerrero, Josh Tenorio, they're going to get certified. There'll be an inauguration, and they'll have 4 years with what I think is going to be 2 years of a very complimentary legislature to begin to get things started and resolved. But if many of these issues still aren't resolved in another 4 years, I think the Republicans will have a great opportunity to get in and try things out again. Who is it that they will throw up against the team, an incumbent team of Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio? Well, it's a very interesting question, Ray. Why, thank you very much. That's why I asked it. Well, what do you think, Ray? Who do you think the Republicans could throw up against Lou Leon Guerrero in 2022? Her name is Mary Camacho Torres, scion of the Republican Party, daughter of the first elected governor of Guam, Carlos Camacho, sister of twice elected governor of Guam, Felix Camacho.
I like the way you're thinking.
Is that too far out of it? And all you got to do is just look around for a Republican lieutenant governor candidate that doesn't harm any of the potential of this.
And with that scenario, Ms. Torres, then you could have back-to-back female governors of Guam for the first time ever.
History. Some say that this might be the first ever supermajority of women in the legislature anywhere in the United States of America. I can't prove that. That's just what, quote, somebody is saying in the WhatsApp chats this morning. We'll see what happens. 8 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG. Ganya, please stand by now for a live broadcast of Fox News. Do we have any precincts in the states that are closing? Probably not for another hour, but let's find out.
Time's running out. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Polls start closing an hour from now in parts of Kentucky and Indiana on a busy midterm election day across America.
People out here are saying that they've never seen it get this busy at a polling location.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Greenwood, Indiana, home of a Senate race considered very close.
In large part because the candidates are not that dissimilar. You've got Mike Braun, the Republican challenger, a businessman, campaigns as an outsider. He's very much in sync with President Trump. But Senator Joe Donnelly, the incumbent, campaigns as quite the moderate, also very much in sync with President Trump much of the time. But it's interesting talking with people as they're leaving this polling location. They say that it's not really about Braun or Donnelly to them. It's about whether they're going to send President Trump more support in the Senate.
Early voting had already broken records in some states. Nationwide, more than 30 million ballots cast before today. Democrats trying to win back control of Congress. They would need to pick up 23 seats in the House and a net gain of 2 in the Senate. Election security getting more attention publicly this time around. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says so far DHS has no indication of compromise to America's election infrastructure that would prevent voting or change the vote count.
Election security is national security. Free and fair elections are the cornerstone of our democracy, and protecting our nation's critical infrastructure against foreign adversaries is a top priority.
Nielsen confirmed that Facebook has pulled down 115 Facebook and Instagram accounts suspected of ties to foreign entities, and said that DHS is aware of a consistent effort to launch a foreign influence campaign to sway American voters. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Also, some tight races for state offices today. 36 states are picking governors. This is Fox News.
Good news, Guam! Now you can design a phone plan that suits your needs by switching to GTA's handset payment option. With HPO, you can take home a new smartphone today and pay it down over 12, 18, or 24 months. You decide. And since there's no contract, you can upgrade phones at any time. So stop waiting. Join the thousands already taking advantage of the most flexible phone plan on Guam. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, your island, your network.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
A Colorado man charged with killing his pregnant wife and 2 daughters has just pleaded guilty in a deal to avoid the death penalty. Investigators said Christopher Watts had previously admitted killing his wife, but had claimed he acted out of rage because she had strangled their 2 daughters after he sought a separation. Today, he pleaded guilty to 9 counts in all. The deal was made with the agreement of the victims' families. The mail bomb suspect arrested last month in Florida makes his first court appearance in New York.
A day after his transfer from Florida to New York, Cesar Sayoc has been ordered to remain behind bars without bail. His lawyers did not even make a bail application during the 56-year-old's initial appearance in Manhattan federal court. Wearing a blue shirt and blue pants, Sayoc was not handcuffed or shackled. He faces nearly 50 years in prison if convicted of several counts and a string of pipe bombs mailed to prominent Democrats. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
Voters in 37 states have questions, not just candidates on the ballot. They're deciding whether to legalize marijuana in 4 states, Missouri, Michigan, North Dakota, and Utah. Puppies at the polls in one state.
Lines can get so long. It's stressful for everyone. And what's better than a puppy greeting you or while you wait in line?
Brenna Nelson is with the Arizona Humane Society and at lucky polling stations around the state today. Voters who are carrying out their constitutional duty will also be getting quite the company from some cute canines, and they're hoping they'll also become some new family members.
If we can get them adopted while we're also kind of spreading the cheer and the joy of pets, it's even better.
Every puppy they have brought to the voting lines is available for adoption, and they're hoping they can find some good homes.
Fox's Jim McKay. An Election Day rally on Wall Street. The Dow up 173. The NASDAQ gained 47. The S&P up 17 points. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Super Typhoon U2 spared us here on Guam, but the same cannot be said for our neighboring islands. From now till November 16th, join us as we help Saipan and Tinian to get back on their feet. Acceptable donations include batteries, flashlights, tools, cleaning supplies, mosquito coils, rope, toiletries, personal hygiene items, and others. Donations can be dropped off to all GTA stores, the Guam Daily Post, all Guam Fire Department stations, and the Santa Teresita Catholic Church. For more information on how you can help, visit postguam.com.
So today I went into iConnect to sign up for their 12-month $19.99 mobile plan. I decided to switch from my old carrier to start saving money for Christmas. And guess what? I won an instant prize just for signing up. And they automatically entered me in their Connect and Win drawing for awesome prizes, including a vacation for 2 to Manila, all for signing up. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details or call 888-8888 to learn how you can connect and win with iConnect.
Conditions apply.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The unofficial final results are in. All 67 precincts have been counted, and it's a clean sweep for the Democrats across the board. The Democratic Party of Guam winning Adelup for the first time since 2002 with the election of Lou Leon Guerrero, the first female governor of Guam. Democrat Senator Michael San Nicolas is headed for Washington, D.C. as Guam's delegate to the U.S. Congress, and Democrat Levin Camacho taking over at the Guam Attorney General's office. The final unofficial uncertified numbers reported at 7 a.m. this morning. Those numbers are Lou and Josh with 18,081 votes. That is 50.7% of the total votes cast. Ray Tenorio and Tony Atta finishing second with 9,419 votes, 26% of the total. And the write-in votes totaling 8,161, 22.88% of the total. Most of those presumed to be for the write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and his running mate, Alicia Limtiaco. The Lou and Josh team already out on the sidewalk in front of the Hagåtña headquarters, waving thank you signs at the traffic along Route 1 in Hagåtña. Senator Michael San Nicolas is claiming victory in the Guam delegates race with 55% of the vote. Finishing second, Doris Flores Brooks with 44%. Levin Camacho slated to take over at the Attorney General's office with a dominating victory over former AG Doug Moylan. Camacho winning with 68% of the vote, 32% for Moylan. In the contest for the Guam legislature, the Democrats will have a supermajority of 10 of the 15 legislative seats. A majority of the lawmakers are women for the first time in Guam's history. 10 female senators winning election. The new senator-elects, in order of their finish, are incumbents Therese Terlahi, Talina Cruz Nelson, Joe San Augustine. Former Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes wins re-election. Incumbent Mary Camacho Torres in 5th place, followed by newcomer Amanda Shelton, incumbent Regine Bisco Lee, newcomer James Moylan, incumbent Luis Muñoz, and newcomers Clint Rigel and Dr. Kelly Marsh, followed by incumbent Will Castro, newcomer Sabina Perez, former Senator Tello Taitigui also winning re-election, and newcomer Jose Terlahi claiming the 15th legislative seat. Turnout at this election was 66.3%. We'll have more news after this.
Super Typhoon U2 spared us here on Guam, but the same cannot be said for our neighboring islands. From now till November 16th, join us as we help Saipan and Tinian to get back on their feet. Acceptable donations include batteries, flashlights, tools, cleaning supplies, mosquito coils, rope, toiletries, personal hygiene items, and others. Donations can be dropped off to all GTA stores, the Guam Daily Post, all Guam Fire Department stations, and the Santa Teresita Catholic Church. For more information on how you can help, visit postguam.com.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it? Can I get that red with AI? Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
12 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Not to be overlooked, taking a look at some of the other races in the election. Judicial retention. Chief Justice of the Guam Supreme Court, Catherine Merriman, is retained with 84% of the vote. Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola retained with 86%. For the Guam Education Board, Lourdes Benavente, Maria Gutierrez, Mark Mendiola, and James Lujan. Winning election or re-election to the Consolidated Commission on Utilities are Simon Sanchez, Michael Limtiaco, and Francis Santos. In court news this morning, Robert Isaac Revels charged yesterday in Superior Court with the Monday burglary of EA Engineering's rented storage room in Barrigada and the burglary of a home in Chalanpago last week. In the home burglary, the owner told police he saw Revels holding his 6-gallon gas container and a Sony DVD player, which Revels then dropped and fled after being spotted. Revels was eventually arrested on Monday when police responded to a complaint of a suspicious vehicle at the EM Chen building in Lower Barrigada. The vehicle had 2 different license plates. Police then noticed the lights were on in the building and a storage room rented by EA Engineering had been damaged. The officers entered that storage room, found Revels and a second suspect identified as Song Min Cho. Both men were arrested. Revels charged with 2 counts of burglary and a special allegation of committing a felony while on felony release. Cho charged with burglary as well. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with some weather.
So is it Lou's birthday today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I understand.
Tomorrow. So but they presented her
they cut the cake today.
The Lou Nutticks, yes, have presented Auntie Lou with a cake. Yeah, before she was candidate Lou Leonguro. Now that it's all over, I can go back to calling her Auntie Lou. So what do we got? Partly cloudy skies, isolated showers becoming mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms this evening. Northeast winds up to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs around 90 degrees. Overnight lows should be 78 degrees. Sunset at 5:52. Sunrise this morning at 6:16. And we'll take a look at the weather radar here, get a sense of what the weather's going to be like over the next couple of hours. It looks like there's something just trying to get into right over the western side of the island.
Yeah, on the checking radar right now, you don't see too much. Just a few scattered showers blowing across down to the south of us and then kind of approaching from the east. A bigger mass of stuff. If we check satellite, though, we can really see.
All right, checking satellite.
Clouds coming in from the east. Again, they're on pace to get here probably right around lunchtime, I want to say, and stick around for most of the afternoon and into the evening as well, and just enhancing rain chances just a bit.
Yeah.
Since there is an upper level trough kind of associated with this activity, there's a chance of a thunderstorm or two, but hey, We live on Guam.
I'll tell you what, around here, it'd just be nice, pleasant to have some rain, wash away the Hanam Basula that's on the roadways left over from when the trash truck came by today. But the other part of it is it would be nice, I'm sure, for some of these people up in Saipan and Rota to be able to get some fresh water falling out of the sky that they might be able to use, some potable water, stuff that they can flush and wash a little bit with. So that's going to end up being good news for them. 8:15, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
I got you. 8:15 in the morning. It's time to start thinking about lunch over at King's. Why? Because they got a great daily lunch special, and every day they're going to be cooking something different up for you. Wednesdays, it's sinigang, pork sinigang, waiting on you at King's for lunch. Not your thing, sinigang? Okay, understood. They've got a pick 2 or pick 3 combo. Enjoy your lunch at King's today.
At the heart of everything we do is our mission to improve the life of every child. From mungy nennies to growing teens, they'll be in trusted hands at FHP Health Center, where we offer comprehensive pediatric services to nurture and protect your child's health from day one. Begin your little one's journey to good health at FHP with seasoned pediatricians and professional staff who hold decades of combined experience. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
The Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by Security Title, when you absolutely need to be sure that you own the property you think you just bought. The guys over at American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. Micronesia Renewable Energy, never been a better time to go solar. And I saved the best for last. AK Lexus, home of the new ES350. You've seen the other ES350s from the past, and you think that's a superior automobile. How to improve on perfection? Well, they figured it out, and I can describe it, or you can test drive it and see for yourself. Find one of those new cars, the 2019 ES350 at AK Lexus.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
Yeah, I don't know. 8:17 in the morning, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK here at the radio station that is trying as much as possible to go through. We've got some unofficial numbers that we can give you from the Guam Election Commission on the results of yesterday's massive election. Not terrible turnout, not awesome. I think 67% is going to be remembered as being, yeah, I guess that's par for the course. A bunch of people stayed home in the election, and if you stayed home, guess what? You cannot complain. You're not allowed to complain if you didn't get out an opportunity to vote yesterday. I know for some people, depending on what time you had available to you, it might have been a pain. But it's one of those things that we have to go through for the process. You cannot suggest that there needs to be change unless you're actually part of that change. I voted. A bunch of the people that I voted for are thankfully are going to be asked to return to the legislature, or going to be asked for a freshman gig at the legislature, or going to be asked for a shot in the governor's office. So I'm very, very pleased with my selections. I got a couple in there that I'm going to say, a little bit disappointed that they didn't make it. But you know what? You tried. That's the thing. That is, you put yourself out there for a shot. So I mean, there's a lot that's going to be made about the top 15 that ran, but I think there's more that needs to be said about the people that didn't make it, that at least tried.
Clear indication that I have absolutely no clue what's going on Guam. Almost all of my candidates lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like my pick'ems in like week 4.
Yeah, something like that.
It was a very similar feeling, yeah.
Anyway, so that's where we are. Is it time for us to start pretending to talk about sports? All right, fine. Let's do that. It's Sports with Blake. Okay, start talking.
All right, you know what? I actually wanted to show some love because Eddie on the Facebook realm and the Facebook arena is always asking me to talk about GNYFF Angels. The Angels, Minyaha, they swept the championship over the weekend. And all three, Metgut, Minyaha, and I don't know. We'll get to it in a second. But all three divisions.
Open?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Angels won their 7th straight Minyaha title over the weekend. They shut down the Southern Cowboys. It's just a bad season for Cowboys in general. No matter where you're from. Yeah, Dallas, Southern, doesn't matter. Oklahoma State, yeah. The Wyoming Cowboys, they're not doing too well either. The Southern Cowboys lose 21-0 in the championship behind a 3-touchdown performance from Tyler Salas. Again, that is their 7th straight Minyaha title. Congratulations to the Minyaha division of Howe's Angels. The Metgut division, the Angels defeated the Raiders in a tightly contested battle, securing a 3-peat championship there. 14-8 was the final from that one. And in the top, the big guys, the older crew. Let's see here. What am I looking for? The Angels complete the sweep after they win the final championship game over the weekend, and they do so with just by winning. I don't have the information on the game right now, but they won in all 3. So there you go, Eddie. And shout out to the Howe's Football Angels, who, like I said, 3-peat in one division, 7-peat in the other division. I think double, at least 2 3-peat in the top division. Yeah. So they're pretty dominant over there in the GNYFF. Or the
dominant like Levin Camacho?
Dominant like Levin Camacho.
So now there's people know Levin in different ways. You might know him politically. You might know him as a member of the legal community.
I go to his family's fiesta every year, the once a year up in Gigo.
Yeah. So for me, it's another athlete. That's the guy. When I'm running, he's on his bike. That's kind of how we know each other. And absolutely delighted to congratulate him on a landslide victory. Absolute landslide victory.
It was a lot. It was actually a lot more than I expected. And not because of anything, politics or beliefs or anything like that. It's just, usually in elections, there's not that big of a margin.
Candidate.
Yeah.
Right, and a sleeper candidate. Where'd this guy come from?
And a first-time, first-time candidate. So, yeah, very, very cool. And I liked his push. He was very nice, and he's very likable in his media push, to get elected, and his house.
A lot of the pictures, him and the kids, right?
Always the kids. And his original house, up there in Gigo on his family's land and stuff. So, yeah, it was very, very cool. Very heartwarming.
So we'll do another shout out, and she was on Facebook Live earlier, might still be lurking. Manai Jima Martin.
Yes.
Congratulations on your first Ironman as a pro, as a professional athlete.
She held a 3-minute lead in the Black Arrow 5150 Ironman race, but the second place competitor, Dimity Lee Duke, was right behind her. However, throughout the 3 minutes, Manami finished strong, held on to win the race by a single-minute Ray to claim victory in her first ever professional Ironman race. It happened over the weekend, Subic Bay, Philippines. It started with a 1.5K swim course. From there, the athletes made their transition. They grabbed their bikes, headed out for the road race, which was a 40.1K ride, and then they capped off the entire event with a 10K run. So there you go.
There.
Yeah,
and it's hot there. But hey, look, training here where you've got hot and muggy.
True.
So there's a little bit of a different attitude.
There's not much difference really in terms of the weather and stuff. It was kind of cool though to see the picture that came back. I saw it posted on Facebook or over the weekend, and there she was, clearly standing with a Filipino background, the landscape, but with her Guam shirt. Man, she got her Guam shirt on, and it represent.
Yeah, oh yeah. And for now, she said she hasn't decided what her next event will be. Maybe a 5K or 2, Ray. But we may have a new mantra. You may have a new mantra here on the show. If you can quote Manami, I'm sure she'll let you. In previous interviews, she admitted, quote, rice is life. So she might just take a small break and update her Instagram before she gets back into something.
But I don't know which rice she's referring to. I mean, she might be talking about rest, inclination, compression, whatever the E is. Whatever. There are some runners there's some athletes that do that. So when you're not actually involved in the athletic thing, these are the ways that we talk about recovery. Right? Is rice. Now it's also possible she's talking about rice, the food. which is all. I don't eat a lot of rice anymore, so and I'm fond of saying I get my rice in beers.
Right.
So that's what. What was my response to that quote?
Rice is life.
There's rice in beer, but there's no beer in rice.
That's true.
so that's how I keep that in my head. Courage is always rewarded. That's my phrase for when I go out there.
I mean, you don't cook your rice.
Although
in beer, man.
there is alcohol in sake. Derived from rice.
That's what's rice wine.
There you
rice
go.
wine. The annual salute to our veterans 5K going to be taking place at San Vicente School in Barragata. That is going to be at 6 o'clock. Go time 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. I will be at the GCC First Hawaiian Bank John K. Lee Jr. Run and Walk. That'll be at Chamorro Village. Showtime at 5. Go time at 6. Register today at Hornet and all First Hawaiian Bank locations. That's going to be another one of those Chamorro Village runs. Don't know if they're going to be going north and south, and I haven't decided whether I like north or south best. I think I like it, but I think I'm leaning towards I like it when we leave Chamorro Village, run north, and then turn around over by Ray Tenorio's campaign headquarters, and then head back to Chamorro Village. I think I prefer that better.
You've convinced me over the years that's the better Chamorro Village route.
Yeah,
once you leave out of there,
you're coming back. You got the wind behind you, and there's a tiny bit of declination on the way back to Chamorro Village. So
plus you get that good view, unobstructed view, that really good unobstructed, cool view that you get.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I think that's my preference. Otherwise, you got to run past the cemetery, then you get down to Adelup, and then you got to make that turnaround, and you're making the turnaround into the sun, into the wind, and let me just say, I'm over it.
Yeah,
I'm completely.
And it seems
over
like the road's a little bit more jagged there, going towards Adelup than it is going north.
Yeah, there's plenty to love about that one. 8:26 in the morning.
It's actually harder to watch you guys run on that road.
Oh yeah, I know. So, no, you just need to park yourself on the side. A little cooler, beach chair, maybe some tunes, Bluetooth coming out, and do all of that stuff. Is there we've got a couple of things we've got the aftermath of our election here on Guam. We're going to see if there's going to be a blue wave or a red wave or neither taking place across the United States as polls are going to begin to close there in about an hour and a half on the eastern seaboard of the United States. So we'll watch and see what happens there. But you got that, and you got football. So is there other national sports that are worth talking about right now?
A lot of people are excited because the NBA is kicking off now. It is a long season, 82 games and all, but just with the change of LeBron James going to LA, and they're not doing as well as everybody wants them to do because they just assume that all you got to do is get LeBron James. You're the best team in the league. Doesn't really work that way, but. So that's pretty much it. And other than that, everybody, it's really just football. And, it's football for me, Ray. I had to. I told Mike over the off air. It's when your team's bad, it's a really long season.
Yeah,
it's a really long season.
I recognize, totally understand, and for people that were watching the election coverage all night long last night, I'm sure they're feeling exactly the same way. When your team is having a hard time, whether you're writing them in or whether you're voting for a Republican gubernatorial candidate, just each report that comes out of the Guam Election Commission just feels like punishment.
To me, and this is no knock on the Guam, on the local election, but I would have rather watched the local election results come in minute by minute than watch my Cowboys play football yesterday. That's how bad it was.
So you know what I'd like to do? Yeah, I'd like to make it so when I cast my vote, I can go outside. It's like, I don't know why we're not yet there in terms of technology, right? But I would like to be able to cast my vote, some kind of machine, some kind of mechanized automated system, cast my vote, and then open up my app on the phone and see where we are. Rather than having to wait until the polls close and all of the votes are in, why can't we do something along those lines where you can watch in a running right now real time fashion what's happening in a race?
The Russians are working on that.
Are they?
Bots.
And the Filipinos, the Russians and the Filipinos that had some
foreign
kind of an impact.
That's it. Yeah.
In the foreign interference. That's what we're going to call it. It's 8:28 in the morning, and I think that's all the time we've got for. Last night, John F. Kennedy High School. I don't know if you've got the score on this.
I do,
but okay, because there was. I was
going to wait for that to go. You got anything else? And then I was going to drop this.
Well, because we were getting complaints from people last night while I'm doing the live broadcast, our pre-post game show. People are saying, "Hey, dude, it's hard to get into John F. Kennedy because they've got a soccer game going on there as well." And it occurred to me while we were talking about this, who played, who won? In the soccer game?
Well, glad you asked. So in a rematch of the championship from last year, it was your Father Dueñas Friars visiting my John F. Kennedy Islanders, and the Islanders probably made the Friars rethink that trip because they beat them 4-1. As the Friars go back to Mangilao with an L on their record, although no doubt Coach will have them all ready to bounce back. But yeah, I actually didn't expect this. 4-1. The game leaders for JFK, Eddie Cho, Justin Cruz, Noah Mueller, and Taylor Bonner all get goals in the 4-1 victory. So there you go. The Friars, they will go back to the drawing board.
As we're talking about Levin Camacho, I get an email from Levin Camacho, and I've got his picture and a bit of the email on Facebook Live now. Today is a testament to the extraordinary power of ordinary people. People who, against the odds, organized to support a first-time candidate. People who, guided by the desire to bring about positive change in our community, remained steadfast in the face of fear-mongering, and we did it. We stayed the course, and more importantly, we stayed true to ourselves. Thank you. There's more, but I think that's sufficient. And a picture of Levin Camacho saying thank you for your support.
You know what makes me the most excited about this is youth. Youth. The youth.
The youth?
The youth. You know, it's a young guy.
Or as the guy says in the movie, the youths.
We have youths. Yeah, yeah. That's what I think politics needs just across the board all around. It's just more youth everywhere. No?
Well, I don't know.
Millennials in the Senate.
Just think so. I think Amanda Shelton might end up being among the youngest of the new people over at the legislature.
Regine, right? Regine's pretty young. Clint's young. Lenon's not. I mean, meaning like none of these people are over 40, right?
The other three guys in the studio, yeah, I guess they're all young.
Well, I mean, like none of them are over 40.
Jimmy's just a couple of years younger than me.
Right? None of them are over 40?
I want to say Sabina's close to my age. I think so. Maybe the same with Jose. But so I don't know. They're maybe not so much youth as in we've got some new people in there. There are 7 incumbents that have been called back. There are 2 prior senators, Tello Taitigui and Tina Rose Munya Barnes, who are what I refer to as Balikbayans. They're bringbacks. And then we've got 5 freshman senators. So I think there's going to be some incredible diversity of ideas and thought.
I'm gonna put the newsroom to the test right now. What was the results on the Doris Flores Brooks Mike St. Nicholas runoff? I didn't see that one yet. Do you have the
Mike wins it?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't see.
Yeah, handy victory. So there's a lot of some of the next questions are going to be what are you going to do now?
Right.
You go find Frank Ugg and Alicia Olympiaco, and what are you going to do? Finish out your term, and then what? You're going to go get a job. Frank, are you going to go get a job at another senator's office while you wait out the next 2 years? Sorry. Let's just do that interview all over again. It's 8:32 in the morning. I think that's all the time we got for sports. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you in the morning.
Kevin Kerrigan coming up with his last newscast. Then I'm going to kick him out, and then I'm going to say, go home and get some rest, for heaven's sakes. That's coming up next.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Might have missed an opportunity to get in a traffic report when you might have needed it. Traffic was moving slow in some of the usual spots, and still there is traffic out there. Second string traffic around Dededo and the Isang Song, and even coming out of Isang Song, trying to make your way through 27. Sorry, not 27, out towards Fatima. A little bit of traffic moving northbound from Upper Tumon into Dededo and the Micronesia Mall area, and a little bit of traffic that is working in the opposite direction. All right, what have I got for you? 8:33 in the morning, and we'll probably scare up a little bit more traffic. But first, headlines from the managing editor of the Guam Daily Post. Been awake since 4 o'clock yesterday. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
I took a nap yesterday afternoon, actually.
Good man.
Half a day and Good Morning Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: a clean sweep for the Democratic Party of Guam. The final count finishing at 7 a.m. this morning. And the Democrats winning Antelope for the first time since 2002 with the election of Lou Leon Guerrero, the first female governor of Guam. Democrat Senator Michael San Nicolas heading to Washington, D.C. as Guam's delegate to the U.S. Congress. And Democrat Levin Camacho will take over at the Guam Attorney General's office. The final uncertified numbers reported this morning. Lou and Josh with 18,081 votes. That is 51% of the total cast, which means there will not be a runoff election. Ray Tenorio and Tony Anna finishing second with 9,419 votes, 26% of the total, and the write-in votes totaling 8,161, 23%. Most of those write-ins presumed to be for the write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and his running mate, Alicia Limtiaco. In the contest for the Guam legislature, the Democrats winning a supermajority, taking 10 of the 15 seats. And for the first time, a majority of the lawmakers in the legislature will be women, 10 female senators winning election. The new senator-elects, in order of their finish, are incumbents Therese Terlahi, Talina Cruz Nelson, and Joe S. San Augustine. Former Senator Tina Muña Barnes wins re-election. Incumbent Mary Camacho Torres placing 5th on the list, followed by newcomer Amanda Shelton, incumbent Regine Bisco Lee, newcomer James Moylan, incumbent Luis Muña, newcomer Clint Rigel placing 10th, followed by newcomer Dr. Kelly Marsh, incumbent Will Castro, newcomer Sabina Perez, former Senator Tello Taitigui winning re-election at the 14th spot, and newcomer Jose Terlahi claiming the 15th spot amongst the legislative candidates. Some of the other races not to be overlooked, judicial retention. Chief Justice of the Guam Supreme Court Catherine Merriman retained with 84% of the vote. Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola retained with 86%. For the Guam Education Board, Lourdes Benavente, Maria Gutierrez, Mark Mendiola, and James Lujan. Winning election or re-election to the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, Simon Sanchez, Michael Limtiaco, and Francis Santos. Of the record 56,000 who registered to vote, turnout yesterday was 66%. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
You've got more stories? There's one topic today, and it's the election. I got a feeling tomorrow's Daily Post is going to be very, very similar to today's Daily Post, where you're basically going from one race to the next, and reactions and commentary from all kinds of people. I think tomorrow is going to be an interesting post as well.
Another busy day.
I think so. It's 8:37. That's iConnect time. iConnect wants you to win big during the holidays with their Connect and Win giveaway. I'll tell you more about that. Basically works like this. The new 12-month mobile internet and push-to-talk customers are automatically entered to win a drawing for a vacation for two to Manila. Maybe you've heard of the place. It's a city in the Philippines. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bit traffic now, a little bit of a buildup in front of Anderson Air Force Base, southbound Marine Corps Drive from about where the intersection of 1 and 3 is. Actually, no, it looks like a little bit more of about where, that's Jack in the Box and then southbound until you get to about where St. John's is. A little bit heavy. Send the girls in. What have we got? I've also got a little bit of traffic from the Chicken Joy intersection making your way up to Marine Corps Drive. And then 8, 10, and 16 where there has been, since early this morning, a line of traffic in front of about where the fire station is, making your way towards that intersection. It just seems to me like you always have to anticipate some traffic heading into there. Might be a little something on southbound near Adelope. Is that Adelope? No, that's not Adelope. You know where that is, where the traffic is beginning to slow down? Build up in front of, it looks like it's all happening right in front of Lou and Josh's headquarters. There's a slow line of traffic that is moving around through there. Gee, I wonder why. It's 8:30, 8:38, and that's right now traffic here on The Point.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Got 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. And we had anticipated that the day after the election was going to be all about the day after the election. And we'll talk about some numbers, and eventually everybody'd get bored with it and say, okay, Luwan, thanks, bye. We have 15 senators in there. We're going to have a new attorney general, a new congressman. Okay, we figured out who that's going to be. Unofficially, yes, we have figured all of that stuff out. And the question was asked of me, and I said, Ray, when it gets to be, when we're done with the election, what will you talk about on the radio? And I said, you know, there's actually a ton of other things that are going on that are not necessarily politics related. And among them are kind of, I want to say almost a revolution in telecom, the kind of technology that is out there, the new phones, the iPhone XS that is out there, and I think there's an SE and all of those things. Yeah, all kinds of new technology that's coming down the road, and it might be time for you to start thinking about, you know, get the new phone, get a new plan that goes along with the phone. And the team over at iConnect have got a great opportunity to get you into the family and give you a shot at multiple ways to win. So in the studio, I got Mel, I got Leah from the front desk over at the iConnect building. They're so far away. I'm so sorry that you had to come so far to be on the program. You gonna be all right?
But we're excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to have you here.
Hello, everybody.
So, first off, these people are like my corporate sisters, right? They work over at iConnect. I'm right next door. We see each other all the time. We work out together. We do the paddling stuff together. Well, they do the paddling. I do the sitting on the beach, drinking beer, and watching. I'm the cheerleader from the beach. But it's great to get you guys into the studio and on the Facebook Live, as it were. Hold on a second. I cannot see Leah there. I have to.
We're happy to be here.
There. Now I can see pretty Leah. So there's a package that you guys are working through over at iConnect. It's iConnect and the Connect and Win giveaway. How does that work? What's the deal?
So basically, what we have launched is our holiday promotion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're trying to give our existing subscribers and our new subscribers a chance to come in and win. 'Tis the season, right?
Yeah.
So you sign up with a 12-month contract. You pick an instant prize. You're also in it for the weekly drawing and the grand prize drawing as well.
We'll start with some weekly drawings before too much longer, but to go in from the basics of it, all you got to do is sign up for a 12-month plan.
12-month minimum.
Minimum 12-month plan. That's all right. So I mean, there's a lot of people that's exactly what they're going to be going for, is because you always get a better deal on a 12-month plan than you will trying to do. Yeah, and a free phone. There's plenty more to that. So we'll dig into some of those details as we move a little bit further into the interview here. Now, tell me about the 12-month plans that are available.
For the basic cell plans for smartphones, we do have a $19.99, $29.99, $49.99, and all these three plans have unlimited talk, text, data, so it's very convenient, very cheap. And
your practical choice, basically.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody every day.
Cheapest plan on the island.
So those are like the personal plans, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
That's the mobile plans.
Yes.
And then is there a 12-month plan for internet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
That's in there as well, and I can win an instant prize if I sign up for a 12-month plan on the internet.
Yes, the MiFis, the routers.
Mm-hmm.
Any 12-month plan with whatever we offer in store is what you can have for entry for the promotion.
I've got a MiFi, the router. I've got the router deal at the house, and absolutely love it.
Yes.
I love it.
You want to renew, Ray?
Want to get another
Get a chance to
device?
come in.
They're always
You know,
working.
you pick an instant prize, you win an instant prize. Not only do you win an instant prize, you get thrown into our weekly raffle, and then our grand prize drawing as well. So you win either way, right?
Well, we'll talk about the grand prize because I think that is going to be a big incentive for a lot of people. But there's also push to talk. Now, I always talk about push to talk, and I get a guy that bugs me on the Facebook Live. He says, "Oh my God, push to talk. That's like throwback to the 1990s." But we're not talking about the same kind of technology. It is push to talk. It is basically a two-way radio. But the phones have gotten so much better.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, I mean, they're like smartphones.
I mean, it's direct connect. Where do you go wrong? You push a button, talk to whoever you need to talk to. It's very convenient as well.
But
and the phones are nicer now.
I was going to say, the phones are a lot nicer than they were when I first got them. They were, these big, fat, huge, flip phony kind of things. But
They're
now
a
we've
bit
got,
nicer.
they're. I don't have one on me now, but they are very, very cool phones, very cool technology. I want to say, I'm trying to remember who it was that used them when Coast 360 did their race, their coast to coast run. They used our push to talk phones so that everybody could communicate with each other.
Yes.
So I mean, it's technology that has certainly been tested, and it's not just point to point. You can also put in like a whole group of people on the push to talk.
Our group talk feature, which is very, very awesome.
Yeah,
everyone can link to each other and
you don't have to call them
communicate with each other.
This is like WhatsApp. It's like WhatsApp for voice.
Yeah,
basically, because everyone's in one group.
I like the idea, and you, if you know somebody that is a push to talk customer that's not necessarily in your work group, so what? You can still message them. We used to do that back in the old days. We used to have push to talk phones, and everybody at the legislature had push to talk phones, and it was really awesome because one of the things that we would do is we would push to talk them while they were talking at the legislature. They're in the middle.
That was the fun part.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the Mr. Speaker stuff,
and it's still fun. I still use push to talk.
It is a good time. So if you sign up for a 12-month plan, again, the deal is we'll hook you up with an instant prize, and then you will be eligible for the grand prize. Tell me about the grand prize.
So the grand prize, we have really awesome prizes for the grand prize. We have 5 awesome prizes. For the grand prize, we have
the Fitbit.
Fitbit
Flex 2. We have the Apple
Is that the
Watch.
one with GPS on it? Does that have GPS? Do we know? I think they all should. But anyway, I'll look
we
it
have
up.
the Apple TV 32 gig.
Yes.
No,
the
I need
Apple
that.
TV.
So you have to sign up on a 12-month contract,
Renew
Ray, and
your
then we
router.
get you in. Renew your router. Or you can even get 2. Do you need more than 1?
I suppose. That is a to die for price. So you hook up your Apple TV. Hook your Apple TV up with the router that I was talking about.
Yes,
and
correct.
then you'll be able to use that to stream all your favorite television shows and movies and even games and stuff like that.
Basically, the more you sign up, the more chances you have. I mean, everyone comes out a winner because once you sign up, you become an instant winner. You pick an instant prize. So it's a great promotion.
Tell me about Manila.
Oh, yes.
I've been there, I've been to Manila.
Who hasn't?
I've had a very enjoyable time and did some great shopping.
Manila's fun,
Some great dining, and I think you can do some gambling if you're over by Resorts World. Over where there's the Holiday Inn is the Express.
At Resorts World Manila, correct. That's where the accommodations are going to be at. So one of the grand prize prizes that you're able to win is you get 58,000 Philippine Airline Mabuhay miles, part of the grand prize, and that accommodates for 2
round trip
to Manila.
Or it's one person can go twice.
Yes. Yeah, whatever works. I mean, you win. It's up to you, right? But I mean, you get the chance to get that, and that's a really awesome prize. Too.
So how do people sign up? Do I need to go to the home office here, or can we do it anywhere?
Anywhere of our locations. We have the Agania Shopping Center location right across Primo Surf, the iConnect main office, and iConnect Micronesia Mall.
Gotcha.
Right next to GameStop.
And so if you've got questions about it, call 888-8888. That's their phone number.
Look for Mel. Or Leah. Or any of our beautiful and wonderful iConnect employees. We'll all be willing to help everybody.
you get more half a day when you walk into the iConnect main office than you do at GBB.
No, let me take that back. You get it at all of our locations. But, we're there to help everybody. We want to give everyone a chance to.
Main office right next to Boston Star and Point, and right across from DPW. Right, we're right next door. Just in case you can't find it, that's where I need you to go. 8:40 in the morning. Did we cover just about everything? The basics of, because you guys are going to be coming back.
Just one thing. When we pick winners, you'll go. We will go live on Star 101 and on Facebook. So keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
And then
sign up. That's the important part.
Sign up with us first.
There's a 12-month plan that is perfect for you, your family, or your business, or all of the above.
And it's a very practical choice. Very cheap plan. plans, very good rates as well. And features are awesome.
Awesome service, too.
Free devices. Where do you go wrong?
People always walk out with a smile. I see that. I notice that when I pass by.
Come to iConnect. Visit us.
888
Happy Wednesday.
on the phone. It's 8:49 in the morning. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Leah, for coming by and visiting. We'll do that again very, very soon. In the meantime, we're going to get back to some of the election yak on the other side of these.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Good news, Guam! Now you can design a phone plan that suits your needs by switching to GTA's handset payment option. With HPO, you can take home a new smartphone today and pay it down over 12, 18, or 24 months. You decide. And since there's no contract, you can upgrade phones at any time. So stop waiting. Join the thousands already taking advantage of the most flexible phone plan on Guam. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. GTA, your island, your network.
10 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. It is the Ray Gibson Show, and watching a little bit of the Fox News website to see what they have put up. And they've got the little coloring books of probabilities for what's going to be happening in the midterm elections, what some have termed as a, what's the word I'm looking for, kind of a verdict on the Trump administration, kind of a sense of where the country is after a couple of years of President Donald Trump, and right now, I mean, I don't know that they're calling anything, but it looks like they've got 42 Republicans in the Senate race against 23 Democrats, and we'll watch as the results of the actual election start coming in to see what's going to be happening with the Senate races. Of course, the House races where everybody is looking at, and right now we have no declared Democrat victors there, no declared Republican victors there, because frankly, all of the polls, most of the way through the country, are all still open right now. Don't think they're going to be closing probably for another hour and 10 minutes or so if my read of the clock is right. Our own election here on Guam concluded. Tapos, done. All now done except for the tears. All now finished except for the screams, the howls of protest. Will there be howls of protest? I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of howling of a protest. I know I can find out. Ken Leon Guerrero has found his way back to the radio station. I don't think I get any donuts this time. I don't think there's going to be any coffee this time. But certainly an opportunity to talk with Ken Leon Guerrero and get his thoughts about what took place at the polling places last night and the conclusions that have been drawn by the Guam Election Commission. Good morning.
Good morning.
Significant.
Well, it's morning. Let's say that.
Some have suggested that this record-breaking write-in turnout for this election.
Well, it is a record-breaking write-in turnout. It wasn't as record-breaking as I had hoped it would be, obviously. So first, let me offer congratulations to Lou and Josh. It was a very hard-fought campaign, and you know, the numbers are the numbers, contrary to what Bigger and Better and Brad Hewitt are thinking right now. So that shoots their conspiracy theory game down.
Well, I guess the question is, obviously you're unsatisfied with the results because Frank and Alicia did not get the sufficient number of votes to cause the runoff campaign. All right, so that didn't happen. But having said that, having and recognizing that Lou has unofficially 50.7% of the votes in her favor with Josh, are you conceding the write-in campaign?
I am conceding my efforts in the write-in campaign.
That's fair.
Because, you know, Andre and I started the write-in campaign, and it didn't go as well as we had hoped it would. Just like Dennis's campaign didn't go as well as he'd hoped it would. Or
Ray's campaign didn't go as well as the Republicans had hoped it would. I mean, that's just the outcome of an election. There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. That's the outcome of an election. I still stand by my loathing of the primary process. I think that if we had not had the primary and just gone straight to a general, but that's hindsight. That's hindsight 2020. And you're not alone in that. I mean, in this morning's Guam Daily Post, that is the point of their editorial as they talk about the election as they ponder it. Guam taxpayers should refuse to pay for primary elections, and there should have been a seat at the table for other than the Republican nominee and other than the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, because
without all of the hoops that the Guam Election Commission's interpretations of the laws put you through, including the idea that we can make a separate write-in spot on the gubernatorial ballot, and then they change their mind on it.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I see it. I think there are some that maybe we're less agreeable to acknowledging your positions, but again, that's the community that we live in.
Oh yeah, in the long run, it comes down to what the voters decide.
Yes.
And the voters made decisions, and I don't necessarily have to agree with them, but I have to abide by them.
Yes.
And
that's the case
That's
here.
the difference between the general and the primary. Because in the general election, it's more credible than the primary election. It's just that the way the primary election was set up, it limited the choices, it limited the options, it stopped a lot of credible people from even contemplating running for office. And I'm hoping that this next group of legislators addresses those issues. We reintroduced Bill 45.
Again, with the Guam Daily Post editorial in my head, they're saying the same thing. We've spotted some discrepancies in our process, and while it's still fresh in everybody's mind, this next bunch of legislators need to take care of it. Ken, I got to let you run. I've got a couple of other guys I want to get to before the top of the hour. Appreciate you coming in and appreciate the efforts that you have put forward to, I don't know, maybe provide a little bit of a second look and another opinion besides just that of what happens between the parties. There was a different Frank that had been contacted by ranking members of the Republican Party at one time to become a write-in candidate, but he was waiting. He was waiting it out until it actually came from the leaders of it came officially from the party, and it never did. Good morning, Darryl. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. How you doing?
You know what? I'm all right. I'm amused and satisfied, I think, with the outcome of the election. Not everybody that I supported, not everybody that I voted for got the nod from the rest of the voters, but I'm looking at what we are left with here, and outside of putting felons in charge of different departments, agencies, and commissions, I think I'm going to be okay with the way the government's going to be for the next couple of years.
I think that this was a mandate from the people. This is the people's choice for our leaders for the next couple of years, at least in the legislative branch and otherwise. But I've always, as my father said, look, once it's been decided, you work with it. And congratulations to all those who won. Mm-hmm. Great job, good job for those who were vying for it. There were a number of newcomers, and I can speak from experience. That's you go through the rigors day in and day out, and you culminate by and for most people, waiting up in bed,
Yeah.
In that crowd, that's. And you go home, take a shower, sit back, and you pray and you hope for the best.
Well, we've got a big enough class, big enough freshman class coming in. You got Amanda Shelton, Jimmy Moyland, Clint Rigel, Dr. Kelly Marsh. I want to say there's another Dr. Sabina. I forget what her terminal degree is, and Jose Terlahi that have been elected as freshmen into this incoming deal. I want to ask you a question from the perspective of a Republican here. I'm going to refer to this election as a major failure for the Republican Party of Guam. After 16 years, they've lost Adelup. They not not only lost their position in the legislature, they have now given it over to a super majority of Democrats in the legislature. Got had a shot at a Republican going to Congress. That didn't work as well. What does the Republican Party need to do to get itself in a better position for the next election, the 2020, and more importantly, 2022?
Well, first off, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We got shellacked.
There.
That's it. You know,
yeah, well, I'm shellacked, failure.
And my suggestion, and I'm going to push that, we sit down and, okay, where did we go wrong? What are we doing wrong? What have we lost in as far as our efforts? And it gives us time to rebuild. Would we rebuild strong enough so that we can become a contending force 2 years from now or 4 years from now?
Not if you're only putting five Republicans in the legislature at a time. I mean, you need to build it up so you got candidates, viable candidates that have got good name recognition and have earned themselves some political capital. And it's going to be hard to do with Democrat at Antelope and 10 Democrats at the legislature. Hey, do me a favor. I'm going to call you back on this in the next hour if you don't mind, because I want to finish the conversation. I think that's it's a conversation that the Republicans need to have among themselves, and I wouldn't mind starting it here. But I got the news coming up.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll check you in a few minutes. Frank Bloss with me on what's KUSG. I got him. I'm trying to get the call sign in here before it gets to be time for Fox News.
Today's the day. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Polls closing soon at about a half dozen states this midterm election day as candidates battle for control of Congress, and some key governor's races up for grabs. Fox's Steve Rappaport has more live.
Lisa, the race for governor of Georgia is one of the most closely watched contests, with Republican Secretary of State Brian Kemp taking on Democrat Stacey Abrams. She's vying to become the nation's first black female governor. In Florida, former House Republican Ron DeSantis is in a tight battle with Tallahassee Democrat Mayor Andrew Gillum to succeed outgoing Governor Rick Scott. Many political observers think Democrats have a good chance of taking back the House, but they're playing defense in the Senate with more than 20 seats on the line. Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota, Joe Donnelly of Indiana, Claire McCaskill of Missouri, and John Tester of Montana are among the most vulnerable. Lisa?
Steve, one of the other closely watched governor's races in California, where Gavin Newsom, the current lieutenant governor, says he's hoping to build on the legacy of Governor Jerry Brown.
Look, I don't think it's a gross exaggeration to say Trump's declared war on California. We're going to need all the foot soldiers we can get, and that means having congressional representatives will have our back.
Republican John Cox says he's focused on repealing the state's gas tax and cutting government red tape. The Department of Homeland Security keeping a close eye on today's elections.
U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says so far there's no indication of any cyber breaches in the midterm election.
At this time, we have no indication of compromise to our nation's election infrastructure that would prevent voting, change vote counts, or distrust the ability to tally votes.
Nielsen said that there's been a consistent effort to launch a foreign influence campaign to sway American voters. To that end, Facebook has pulled down 115 Facebook and Instagram accounts suspected of ties to foreign entities.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Wall Street had now climbed 173. This is Fox News.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
A Bangladeshi immigrant who set off a pipe bomb in New York City's busiest subway station at rush hour convicted of terrorism. After the verdict was read, Aqaed Allah told the judge, "I was angry with Donald Trump because he says he will bomb the Middle East and then he will protect his nation." A Colorado man accused of killing his pregnant wife and 2 daughters has agreed to plead guilty under a plea deal. Weld County District Attorney Michael Rourke says he spoke with the victim's family before making the deal.
They were very strongly in favor of a resolution in this case short of the death penalty. That, to me, was the most important consideration in deciding how to proceed with this case.
Christopher Watts entered the guilty plea during a court hearing this afternoon. Vehicular homicide charges filed against a 21-year-old man accused of inhaling chemical vapors before crashing his truck into a group of Girl Scouts picking up trash on a Minnesota highway. Colton True facing 4 counts of vehicular homicide and 4 counts of hit and run resulting in death. He could face up to 160 years in prison. More General Motors vehicles could be recalled.
368,000 Chevy Equinox and GMC Terrain SUVs were recalled in August of 2016. Windshield wipers could fail earlier than expected due to water and debris getting into assembly ball joints. Now, the federal government is investigating whether General Motors should expand that recall to 1.7 million more vehicles. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says it's gotten 249 wiper failure complaints from owners whose vehicles were not included in that recall. No crashes or injuries were reported. Chris Foster, Fox News.
Duncan Hines recalling 2.4 million boxes of cake mix due to a link to salmonella. The recall including Classic White, Classic Butter Golden, Signature Confetti, and Classic Yellow varieties. Most of the boxes have an expiration date of March 2019. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K, take it easy. Be your own barista at Circle K. Create your perfect beverage with our large selection of premium coffees, sweeteners, and creamers, including 2% almond milk and soy milk. Circle K, take it easy.
What? I'm supposed to talk about Kings. This is the sign. This is supposed to look like a crown. That's the hand signal between here and the producer. And a reminder to talk about pork sinigang. That's the big lunch special today at Kings. Gonna get hungry later on. And like I said, that's what they're cooking up as their special. If that's not your cup of tea, if that's not your big favorite, then try the Pick 2 or Pick 3 combos today at Kings.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Yeah, okay, I'm here. The rest of the people that bring you this program, very proud of our working relationship. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your open heart surgery needs. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar. And my friends over at American President Lines, they're shipping the future.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
I got to take care of this. I mean, this is vitally important. Gina Marie Tenorio Call has tagged me in a post, and any time that Gina tags me in a post, then I know it's important. She says, "Don't forget, tomorrow night at Tamuning McDonald's is our McTeacher night for Price Elementary School. Please support our kids. Have a blast with us too. All proceeds will support second grade team with their fundraising goals for the students. Can't wait to order my Southwestern salad. Yummy." And then there's my Ray Gibson. Would you please help spread the word for my school on your show? Thanks so much. Not only will yes, I can do that, but one of the things, let me see yes, I will share this with all of my Facebook friends as well, so they'll all see it on their timelines as they're making their way through their day on social media. Yesterday on social media was all about everything was all about people with their "I voted" stickers. Did you catch that? It seemed to be all over the place, and I thought that was exciting to see so many people that were participating in the process just like I did. And there's so much to love about it, and I fall in love with elections, I think when they're done, I love them more than when they're happening. It's like the Liberation Carnival, Liberation festivities. Right. You know, it's a pain in the butt. You know, we got to make plans. We got to rent our pala and hire the DJ and figure out what food we're going to be bringing, who's going to ride on the floats, who's going to be doing the live broadcast, all of that stuff. And I don't like the run up to it. But that morning, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, as the sun is breaking over Marine Corps Drive, right. And I just think about how much fun this is going to be. How many of my friends am I going to see up and down the parade route? How many people are going to, while I'm riding whatever vehicle I'm riding, going to bring me a plate of food or a cold beer or something like that?
You're forgetting about the most important part, Ray.
What's that?
Were you right or wrong?
Was I right or wrong?
That's the most exciting part about the day after the election.
No, you know what? I think there's too much that gets put into that, where you're voting, trying to figure out, if I vote for this guy, will everybody else vote for this guy? Will will my votes match up with what the actual thing happened? That's not the point.
Yeah, you can't.
That isn't the point. The point is for you to, as an individual, go, I like this person. I think this person is going to be good for the island. I think this person is capable of helping, among everybody else that I'm going to vote for, solve some of these problems. And in my case, there are a couple of people, a couple of votes that I cast that did not win. And that's just the way it is. Other people voted for other folks. But getting to the point that I was trying to get to before is I like it when it's done. Now, when the second I was done casting my vote, I don't know, a quarter mile away from behind where Frank Bloss's house is, as far as I was concerned, I'm done. I'm finished. Now it's just a question of counting up the votes. And while we're thinking about counting up the votes, I went to the Bota tent and ran into my sister Mana and the girls and had a hot dog and a hamburger and about 11 million rib sticks and a corn on the cob. And just sat there and reveled in the joy of doing something that I knew everybody else on Guam was going to be doing. I think that's great. And it's like the Liberation Parade. Pain in the butt to do all the planning for, but once it's there and you're surrounded by family and very, very good friends, man, there's nothing like that. And I don't think anywhere else in the world. What do you think, Frank? Yeah, as we're, I'm just shooting the breeze here. As the polls will start closing in the mainland in about an hour, less than an hour now, do you suppose that anybody else got hamburgers and hot dogs and soda pop and rib bones at their voting places?
Yeah. First off, I don't think so. And then more importantly is, in most of the polling sites, you can get your hot dog from the Republican camp and your drink from the Democratic camp.
Yes.
And sit right in the middle.
Yes.
And have a discussion with both sides. And that's the great thing about living on the island. We recognize that this is a process and we're going to go through it, and we all have our gauzus, for lack of a better term. And but when it comes to polling and everything, like in Barangay, you have the sites, side by side, and traditionally we shared resources.
They're on the same plot of land, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
There's three different houses, but it's the same plot, if you will.
And and they basically share the same tent from the same vendor. if you saw it, and that's the fun part. We recognize that it can get heated, and it does get heated right up to election day, but afterwards. As we do in storms, we're resilient and we work together, and we all have the common thinking that we want to do what's best for Guam.
Do you think, Darryl, that there will be Frank Bloss Jr. with me on the phone? I call him Darryl because that's the familiar. Do you think that there are unmendable fences? I mean, there were some pretty bad kill, death hit pieces that were running around in the primary and some awful-looking stuff leading up to the general election. Do you suppose, even as you and I are talking about this in Nafat Maulik attitude, do you suppose that there are going to be some unmendable fences? Will the Democrat Party be as welcoming to Frank Uggan as they might be to Frank Bloss?
Well, we've only got an island with a small population, and we got to learn to live with each other. And you know, only on Guam and in small places like ours, can you walk into Happy Mart and meet up with a senator that you did vote for, you didn't vote for, or you know that you can go to church and sit in the same pew as the governor and the lieutenant governor. Okay, and so meeting up with your foe is going to be inevitable, and meeting up with them often is probably going to be more likely.
Yes.
So if you're gonna hold the sour grapes for that long, don't put it into your cereal box and mix it with your cereal and think you're gonna come up with raisin bread. No, I've always felt that okay, I can get heat. I remember my run against Mellon.
Yeah.
Okay, and a lot of people thought it was really heated. I tell you what, I mean, at the end of the day, I have the respect. And when the people's mandate, when they came on, they says, no, we're going to re-elect Madeline, that was the people's choice. And I worked with her as if, I didn't run against her. I didn't say bad things against her. So, about her. And so, we got, that's the way it's got to happen.
It maybe not today. Maybe not today. And I got to say, I think the guy that handled it best was. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just distracted by something on my Facebook Live. Speaking of unmendable fences, Troy Torres writing on Facebook Live just now. Ray lost, all capital letters. Woohoo! I had a cousin Troy. See, cousin Troy.
Oh, yeah. And there's going to be some of that. But as time flies, again, you're going to meet up with them, and it's just in our nature. It's just in our culture. Okay, and it's not a bad thing.
Well, I want to say the last time that Troy and Ray got together, in fact, I was there. I didn't see it because it took place inside the building, but that was over at Dennis Rodriguez's camp on the primary election night. And Ray walked across the street to say hello, and I think got an earful from Troy there. So it'll take a while for that one to kind of work its way through. We'll watch and see where the rest of it is going. But there's the reason why I asked you to call back, the reason why I wanted to spend more time with you on the radio is because I think there needs to be a serious conversation where the Republicans need to remember, I think, what the job is, and the job is to get more Republicans, conservative minds in the legislature and in Congress and at Adelup. They've been at Adelup now for 16 years, four terms of governors, and all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. So what was it? Was it the candidates? Was the strategy of the party backwards? Were there better candidates on the Democratic side? Was Lou's spiel all that much better than Ray's?
Well, obviously, of course, you can't take anything away from the Republican opposition. Okay, they wanted it, just as bad as I hope that Ray and Tony wanted. They put out, of course, more. They were very vigilant in their process. There were probably things that the Republican Party could have done better. And those are some of the things that, when the dust settles, hopefully we can get together as a party and look at where our failings are, or where we need to bolster, and where we did good and what we need to build up. But it's got to be an open and a very frank conversation. And is it too late for the party? Is the party totally demised? I don't think so. I think that the process here, politics is about, compromising different views.
Well, is it possible that the Republican Party spent too much time and devoted itself a little bit too heavily to the Republican gubernatorial candidate, and maybe not enough attention paid on Doris, not enough attention paid on what I thought was a pretty healthy slate of Republicans, and some new Republicans at that?
Yeah, and this is my opinion, and yes, I have to agree with that. Early on, I felt that there wasn't enough effort putting into introducing and giving the candidates a platform to be able to speak and to help to spread the word. and maybe even in some cases because a lot of them were basically brand new to the whole system, is mentor them. I did, in fact, offer my knowledge, my suggestions, my advice to a number of the different candidates, and with the hope of, and with the caveat of saying to them, you guys got to get together. You guys, you got to speak in a voice so that not everybody's going to be an expert in everything, and don't try to be an expert in everything. But down the line within your group, you got an individual who can do this. Present it in that package, in that way. Again, it was advice. Was it taken? I don't know.
Well, you and I are the same. I mean, I might not know everything, but if I give you I offer a piece of advice, you ignore it at your own peril. So
I'm one to say I don't know everything, but I surely appreciate it. I can surround myself with people that do know things, that can help me, and then that I don't know. I'm not afraid of that, and so I was hoping that this was something a strategy that could have been used. Was it used? Quite honestly, I didn't see it.
Is there also the possibility, Frank, that there might have been, I don't know, it's because I remember talking 16 years over at Adelup. Is it possible that there was a little bit of Republican fatigue? You've got one party that is in charge of an entire branch of the government, and even though one set of the years were Camacho years, another set was the Calvo years, it just felt like all the same people were basically being shuffled around from all of the different positions that were going in there. Is it possible that the voters were just going, okay, I'm tired. It's time for a new government now?
The overarching feeling in this election was change. And that was very clear from the get-go. And, although the Republicans, our party has held Adelup for many years, there could have been a better effort in being able to provide a contrast, if you will, or what changes would have been, as compared to the two previous Republican administrations. I felt that there wasn't enough of that, and I was hoping to hear a little bit more of, okay, what is the new thing? And that the key word is new. What is the new thing that our Republican candidates would be able to provide?
Wow. As I said, given the nature of where we've been for the last 16 years, I think you kind of get stuck into a rut, and even though we're watch the change of the decades as they go by, you still kind of get into that thinking. I think this is going to be an interesting time, and I've said this more than a couple of times already this morning, but we are in a place after the inaugurations next year where we will have a first branch of government that will be remarkably similar to the second and third branch of government. We've got a Democrat woman that will be leading the island from Adelup, and we've got a Democrat supermajority, female supermajority over at the legislature. So I hope that they will all be able to get together and in orderly female-like ways, check marks, milestones. Here's the priorities. This is what we're going to work on Monday, and Tuesday we're going to do this, and Wednesday we're going to nail this down, and Thursday we're going to knock this out. And Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we'll goof off, and that's going to be family time at the beach. And then we'll come back on Monday and start doing it again. I just kind of hope with the harmony of interests and ideals that they've got that occurs.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to be done. Obviously, there's going to be pressure, not from the sense of policy making, but in how they're able to handle and to develop policy. I've heard all morning, that here goes the change of the male establishment, in government. I, for one, while I'm a male, I never thought that if you were on that floor as a colleague, male or female, I mean, it can be brutal. There was really no holds bar, and so a lot of people are going to be watching, and I hope the best. I want for them to succeed. They need to succeed. You know, my kids and my grandkids, I depend on it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I go around and say, you know, now I feel comfortable, and now I can tell you what to do. Okay.
Josie Moyer on Facebook, and she's got an interesting meme going on. In the new year, Guam will be led by a female Democratic governor with a female Democrat majority legislature. Republicans and misogynists be like, and then you'll just have to find her on Facebook to see what the rest of it looks like. That's okay. You guys take over. Me and Frank will be at the bar drinking beer. We'll watch.
Yeah,
We'll cheer you on from the side.
For the most part, when I was in the legislature, you know, I served, you know, in the minority, other than for maybe the first 6 months of the 29th Guam legislature. Mm-hmm. That said, it's just a matter of being able to sit down and have a conversation. You know, I knew, you know, throughout my time in the legislature, I needed Democrat votes. You know, but I didn't see this needing Democrat votes. I needed votes.
Yeah.
I needed votes from colleagues that are there. Okay, and so I've done it, and I hope that others, that the new ones, you know, learn how to be able to do this. And, you know, my hope is that, you know, Guam in 2019 and 2020 is much better than Guam, you know, in 2018 and 2017. That's
gotta hope so. Gotta hope so. 924. And speaking of the future, we're talking about the Republican future. And if somebody said, Ray, you've been critical of the Republican Party of Guam, what would you do? Never mind what I will do differently. This is what I would intend to do. I'm going to look down the long road to 2022 and try to convince Mary Camacho Torres to run for Adelup.
Well, yeah, those are conversations we need to have.
Yeah, just get the excitement started and start looking at some of the people that put themselves out on the Republican side of the ballot that did not make it into the 35th Guam legislature, and work with them because you got to. It's not like you can just say, well, we'll find somebody to put in the 2022 election. You need to start planning that out now. Who's going to be your scion? Who's going to be your new Godzu? And who is their running partner going to be? And how do you make sure that you can get people, like I said, with that name recognition, with that political capital? And you better start today. I mean, like right now, today. Let's have a meeting and see what happens.
That's right.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, but and you know, another plug. I want to thank the people of Guam, and you know, that stepped up and helped with the Azuda Foundation's CNMI relief drive. You know, it's going strong, and you know, as always, our community has stepped up and now helping our brothers and sisters CNMI. We're still moving forward. Jimmy and I have got to close up 240-foot. Jimmy has spot on, and I've got to close up 240-foot containers today.
Awesome.
So we're going to be working hard on that.
Awesome. Where are you going to be at? Which one? Which container?
The old formal site, across the street from you.
Oh, down the street. Because I was looking for that the other day. I was making a U-turn, looking to see if I could go and bum around with you guys, but I didn't see any container. I didn't.
Come on, after you show, come on over.
Got beer?
Come on over. All right, bud.
Tell I'll talk to you later. All right, Darrow. It's 9:26. Mary's on the phone. Good morning, Mary.
Hi, good morning.
Hey.
I just wanted to call in to mention and hopefully for the voters, a lesson learned. If you go to the Guam Election Commission website, and I got this notification from my daughter who lives in Hawaii, there were so many overvotes, and that would definitely disqualify a vote sheet to be counted. Do you know how many? And if we start at the top with the voting for the governor, there were 395
correct
votes that were disqualified. When you move down to the non-voting delegate, it's 260 disqualified.
Keep going.
And holy moly, when you get down to the senatorial, it is it's just really frightening. There were overvotes disqualified, number 2,745. Now, can you imagine if you added what that would mean to the election? There could easily have been a runoff if people were very careful to count how many circles were counted.
It's not hard. It's 15. Frankly, I'm surprised that there were people that found any more than 15 folks to vote for.
Right,
and so how is it possible that there were that many overvotes? I think my total was 7.
It's just, it's amazing. I mean, people wanted to be sure to get their 15 in, but they didn't check. And, you know, before, years ago, if you recall, we were given a pencil and we could erase it right, if we counted it down, if we didn't straight vote by the party. But now it's a pen, and people evidently just didn't bother to go back and count.
And or if you overvote, if you know you made a mistake, don't just put it in the thing. You got to go and ask for a new ballot. They know how to deal with that.
Yeah, I was impressed because I was using a cane, and the guy said, I'll give you the instructions if you want to be comfortable, if you want to sit or stand. And then the last thing he said was, if you I forget the word, mess up on your vote sheet and somehow, right, says, be sure to call us and we'll give you another sheet. I mean, of course I know that, but never occurred to me that people wouldn't be counting the number of candidates that they were voting for. So can you imagine? But what I'm interested to know is, aside from the shock of seeing that almost 3,000 votes were disqualified, 2,745, just because the people did not count the senatorial candidates that they wanted to win. Is this separate from the 260 that overvoted for a governor? I mean, come on.
How do you overvote for a governor?
They can only choose one governor candidate. How could 260 people didn't understand that, and they circled more than one?
I don't know. And the funny thing, Mary, is they made these mistakes, these grievous errors. They trashed their own votes seconds, literally seconds, and no more in most cases than about 10 feet from where they got the instructions.
I know.
I had a nice guy give me the instructions. He was very, concise and direct, and gave me examples. And his breath wasn't mutong, because sometimes that's the case, right? They've been saying the same thing all morning long, so they get that kind of mutong breath. But this guy, he'd had a mint, so everything was all right.
So we got with just if they were separate, if they disqualified based on the overvotes for a governor, that's 260, and if the 2,704 were other voting sheets that were disqualified. So you're talking already right there, 3,405 votes that were disqualified. And then 67 voted more for the one attorney general. And then the only ones that was a no-brainer was the Guam Election Board.
Right.
You could only vote for 4, and 4 ran.
Now, my understanding, Mary, and I got to let you run, is my understanding is that if you overvoted on the senatorial side, but you only picked one governor, that part of the ballot still counted. So your vote for governor counted. It's the votes that you cast, the overvotes in the race for senators, that's not going to count. So it's not like your entire ballot, the whole piece of paper, is invalid.
Okay, so but that was 2007.
But yeah, it's still a big number. 2,745 people couldn't remember the instructions that they had just been given about voting for up to 15 senators on either side of the ballot.
Yeah, I just wanted to make people aware about it over the radio. So a really terrible lesson to be learned, that you really need to, if you want to vote 15, you need to sit down and count them.
Count 15. I will. Well, there's other lessons learned, Mary. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other lessons learned from this election, and of course, the memes have already started. They're already out there, and there's already people that are getting unruly, just getting crazy. Like I said, got Cousin Troy in here, and what was a couple of points that made Troy Torres' mass for a Christian burial scheduled by the voters of Guam sometime around 2:20 today, and then Guam Ini says, "Come on, peace, bro. We just having a civilized and intellectual exchange of opinions." And Troy says, "I'm not. Troy, he wants to poke around, get in there. Is that good or bad? I don't know. Shelly Calvo is there. Hi, Trish Cruz. Nice to see you there. Melanie Ogo, Renee, and Pat Tagui. Lady D says, simple solution, downsize the amount of senators. Ooh, no. Stop thinking that. Don't think about downsizing the legislature even more. Last night when I was talking with Bob and Jerry Roberts, there were a lot of parallels that people were trying to draw between this election and 1974. For whatever reason, and I read the names of the senators that we voted for, or you could vote for in 1974. There were 21 of them. There were 21 senators, and I going over some of those names, there were a lot of them with a lot of just background political capital just because of their family name, right?
Yeah, some of the names I saw in there, even I kind of recognized after, because I've read about the history of Guam since arriving here, and it was like, whoa, wow.
And that family was somebody's family, right? Yeah. And imagine the diversity of thought that we got back in those crazy early days of the 1970s, the late 60s, early 70s of politics on Guam. I mean, there was a kind of rough and tumble time. Francisco Santos and Jim Miles, if for no other reason, you couldn't find, if you tried, you couldn't find two people who were more different from each other. But imagine what they were able to bring, a cause for the spirit of compromise over in the legislature. They fought like hell, those guys. But it was, but they fought like hell for the same reason, because they love Guam. So I thought that was, and so your power is not based on just 8 people like it is now. You needed more votes to get something through in that old style legislature. I'd love to see us go back to 21 because I think that I've been meaning to do this. We'll take a break in a second, but I wanted to do this. So number 15 was Jose Terlahi, followed by Sel Babauta, and I had the opportunity to interview Sel a couple of times. This is a smart fella. And probably could have done very well in the legislature. Adolfo Palacios is there. Jermaine Alerta, who has been behind the scenes at the legislature for years and knows a thing or two about he would be able to start like day number 1. We're going to miss that for a couple of years. Steve Guerrero. This is a brilliant money guy. And one of the people that when you have questions about that, he's one of the guys that you ask. And now is not going to be a member of the legislature. Benny Servino, and there is no greater advocate for individuals with disabilities of all kinds in this town than Benny Servino. And he would have used the powers of his legislative office to turn things around and make accessibility a real priority everywhere, and including the government of Guam. And I'll tell you what, as an example, when I went to go vote yesterday, parked my car over here, and from over here, as you get closer to the front of the school, obviously, that's where you'd find the accessible parking. Every one of those stalls was technically illegal, because they did not have the appropriate signage and the appropriate notices about, and that's the government of Guam. That's the Department of Education. So that would have been Benny's job there. So where did Amanda Blas, Lacia Casil. I cannot imagine what the legislature would have been like had Lacia come in there. I mean, serious environmental activist, LGBT activist. I think that would have been great. Jack Haddock would have been great in there. Michelle Taitano. And what's one of my favorite topics to hit on is crime. She's with the parole board. So here's a woman with very, very strong opinions, and I think some good ideas on how we might have been able to do it. Julia Santos, Jose San Augustin, Janae Uggan, Roland Blas, Ken Joe. We don't get Ken Joe.
There will
what
not.
The hell?
It will not be a holistic legislature.
We're not getting Ken Joe. How much fun would that have been?
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's one of the guys I voted for, because he would have been great for talk radio.
He would have had to meditate and stuff.
It's 9:37. All right. Well, let's yak my way through the rest of the program after these messages.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus
Now with special incentives.
at Atkins Kroll.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho 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 without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's a Christmas-themed commercial. Yes, yeah. That's there was that, and the fact that we've got an unofficial winner in the election. That's it, man. It's the closing of the year already. Just start looking around for it to be where are we going for New Year's, bro? There we are. Open the calendar. What have we got in the calendar for what day of the week is New Year's?
What's that day?
You have one?
No, I'm looking mine up at the same time you do. Let's we'll race.
No. I'm not going to find it because somebody just sent me a picture.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday?
Yep.
Can we reschedule? I want to riff on something here, if you don't mind. The election was on a Tuesday for no reason that I can fathom, period. I think we should have had the election on a Saturday, right? And it would be exactly the same, except more people, I think, could have gone out and voted and got out and out of work or something like that. And then we could all go to our favorite campaign headquarters, go hang out over at Lou's Place or Sam's Lounge up at the Cliff or wherever Ray was doing his thing, and just goof, right? And then it would be Sunday morning, and you could be all hungover or disappointed or ticked off or whatever, but you have a whole day to get over it.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So you can't do that now. There's all kinds of people probably drinking at Lou's Place all night long.
And think if it were on a Saturday, most of these celebration areas would probably be near a beach somewhere.
Yes. So Halloween, and I might have mentioned this before, there's a very active conversation about, I don't know, making a constitutional amendment to have Halloween fall on the last Saturday of October as opposed to October 31st. That way, there's always, you got Halloween night on Saturday night, and parents don't have to worry about, oh, my God, I got to work all day, and then I got to go home and get the candy all set out, get the kids all dressed up, and you got all day to dress it up. So if we don't make this, some kind of constitutional amendment, maybe a law here on Guam put together by all of the mommies over at the legislature and the mommies at Adelup, right, and enforced by the mommies over at the court. That's how you get things done. Yes, so you just watch. There's going to be some changes. It's going to be mandatory now. When you buy ice cream, at the grocery store, it's going to come in a melt-proof bag, right? And there's going to be, you know how we've got accessible parking right now? There will be parking for pregnant women and new moms.
Oh,
special.
Very good.
And you know what? I agree with it. Let's do that. I've been in and around those situations, and I think there's some common sense solutions. Why we don't make them just common sense solutions? Why the businesses don't do them on their own? I don't know. Culinary food tour going from one village hospitality tent to another. But we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Or last night. I mean, I had good food. I had ribs and hot dogs and hamburger and soda pop.
That's all the 4 food groups, I think, right there.
No, did I get dessert?
I don't even think you needed it. I believe your stomach would have rejected dessert at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. But New Year's, instead of waiting until the end of the year, we should have New Year's should fall on whatever the Saturday is, the Saturday closest to New Year's.
There you go.
So that way, you got the whole day to goof off, recover, whatever the hangover medicine is going to be.
The New Year's really supposed to be in March anyway.
Hadn't thought about that.
It's the Romans that changed.
Yeah, hadn't thought about that. 9:42 in the morning, and just going over some of my notes here. And thoughts about it. I didn't have too many problems getting out to vote yesterday. Did get this note here from my buddy Alfredo. He says, Ray, I was listening earlier while driving to work and heard the topic of why 1 in 3 people did not vote. One of the reasons may be they've passed away. All right. I remember voting 2 years ago, he says, and when I gave my ID to the precinct official, she said my ID did not match the name on the list. She showed me, and it was my father's name, Alfredo C. Mendoza. I am Alfredo P. Mendoza, Jr. I told them that my father passed away in 2007, and I don't know if they had removed my father's name from the list. So maybe a lot of registered voters may have passed away already, which is why they did not get to vote. The topic did come up. In the conversation with Maria Pangolin, and it was basically one of these things. They meshed their database with information that they get from vital statistics over at Public Health, and that might be as good as it gets. And the other thing is after a number of elections where dead people don't vote, their names are automatically removed from the roster.
Okay.
So that's why.
Given the way things are communicated here, based on my recent experience,
yes,
and the follow-through of most government agencies, there's a good chance a lot of those people that didn't vote are just no longer here.
Yeah. Split. Got to go. 9:43. We have not, and I don't know to what degree we've tried. I usually leave that kind of thing up to the producer. But there is a clear winner in today's election. How do I know it's a clear winner? Because Ken Leon Guerrero came in and said his guy was the clear loser. So, and they're not going to fight it. A hard-fought write-in campaign. Couple of 2 weeks before the election. That's all they got after they talked to everybody and got permission from priests and friends and families and rabbis saying, yes, we think you should do this write-in campaign. So they did, but they didn't get enough votes. Got a bunch of votes. Got a boatload of votes. I got to say, somebody will do the historical. We'll take a look at the GEC comparative reports that they've got there. Great resource, by the way, and see if there was anything, if there have ever been other write-in campaigns that have beat the 700 or so votes that Frank and Alicia or other write-in candidates received in the last 24 hours. But we haven't had a chance to, get cozy with the winners. I cannot vouch for the audio that you're about to hear. It was taken earlier this morning over at the Lou headquarters. There's some traffic in the background. There's some people in the background, and they were kind of holding the microphone perhaps in the wrong direction. But there should be just enough audio for you to hear their comments on the unofficial results of the general election.
All right, Lou and Josh, you both have garnered the most votes. How do you feel right now?
We feel really good about the results. We're even more excited about starting on with the work that we have to do ahead of us. I think our supporters were very committed and believed in us and worked really hard to get us to where we are today. And we have moved our agenda and our campaign forward. So this is the result. After 2 years with Josh, talking to people, meeting people, and so today is a great celebration for ourselves, our people, and of course our supporters. So we're very happy with the results that have occurred.
Yeah, I'm not going to torture you with that audio anymore because whatever jam they're playing in the background is not my jam. That's not my one.
No,
here.
a little too much bass.
Sorry about it. Yeah, a little bit too much. Do I have any other cool memes and things that I can show you? Yeah, somebody sent me this. Bank of Guam. Overheard on Guam. Bank of Guam is now Gov Guam. Do I have another one that I can send? Some of these, and I got to tell you, it's not like all of these are being sent to the radio station's WhatsApp, which is 988-5874. Some of them are being sent to me from my own personal different WhatsApp groups that I'm a part of. Let me see if I can send this one here. When we were talking about teachable moments, this will pop up here in just a second. Teachable moments. There is a meme. There's some mean meme generators that are out right now. How about this one? Picture of Ray Tenorio, and it says, that gun grab thing. Big teaching moment, a big teaching lesson for me, too. No! Ow. Ow. And I'm trying to think, is that Troy's favorite font to use in memes? Probably is. Probably is.
We're going into forensic discovery to try to find out who's
Yeah, it is.
producing these things.
So, okay. So somebody's asking me to get back to some of the serious conversation here. Total votes cast. All right, stand by. Let me see if I can find something with the total votes cast on it. I'm assuming that you want just the governor here. Oh, I can give you all of it. All right. So 67 precincts, 55,941 registered voters. And that's how many people showed up. They cast a total of 37,090 votes or ballots. So our total voter turnout was 66.3%, but the total ballots cast was 37,090. So figure out what that's going to be. Now those numbers will come in handy in the conversation about the next election that we need to have. Because that's going to be the high water mark. And unfortunately, the watermark keeps getting lower and lower and lower, but it will be the high water mark. So when we start talking about the next gubernatorial election, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, or perhaps they'll find a way to make it easier for independent, non-party members to run in elections, that's going to be the number that they start to look at.
Right.
And that'll be the number that they start to look at. The other interesting question that somebody needs to do was, what did we say? It was $2 million, or about $2 million that was raised by Lou and Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so calculator moment. Calculator moment now is, what did we get? What did she get? 18,081 votes. So $2 million, right? Divide it by 18,081.
Yeah.
081. Are you punching them in?
Oh, I'm done, man.
Oh, you're finished?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much how much did it cost Lou and Josh to get elected?
$110.61 per vote.
$110.61 per vote. Simple mathematics, which is the other thing that we're going to have to look at, that you are going to have to look at. If you want to be one of the people that is running for office, recognize that there's deep pockets behind this particular team that you might find yourself running against for Adelup.
Now that Lou and Josh are going to be in there, is Adelup still where math goes to die? Interesting.
You know, she was a nurse.
Oh,
and a grandmother and a mother and a wife.
Oh, you
remember the commercial?
Wow, she could cure math.
Yeah. She could
just
cure
takes mommy's
math.
That's all it takes.
That's funny. All right. I don't know. There are any number of other interesting, asides that we can make in the election here if you want to, pull every little thing apart. One of the takeaways that I think is going to be fun to talk about in the next election is how much baggage can we jettison from this election? Because clearly it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference. Maybe too much has been made over the years about the unity pledge. We have a unity pledge. We'll bring everybody into the bosom of our party. And everybody signed this document. I just like saying bosom. But we'll bring everybody together, and we'll have them all sign off on a document that pledges undying love and devotion and loyalty and fealty to the party. And you remember the first day they were doing it, and everybody said, Mike Nicholas, here's the Sharpie. Go sign the thing. And he walked away with the Sharpie. Hey. Unity pledge, that's not for me. And you remember the guff that he got from Ken Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ken looked like he had just eaten an entire raw lemon, and then began to lay into Mike St. Nicholas about ignoring the unity pledge. What kind? He wanted him to be kicked out, kick him out of the party. If you don't sign the pledge, then you shouldn't even be a member of the party. You shouldn't be able to put D at the end of your name. And that didn't seem to bother him because he had that cotton candy thing going.
Yeah.
And you might call Moylan's Party World right now and find out if you can get yourself a cotton candy machine. Call East West Rental and see if they've got cotton candy machines. Go to Kmart. You get a little kid's cotton candy machine.
In the new administration, whenever Adelup wants to propose something really difficult for the legislature, Bring cotton candy.
Bring cotton candy, because apparently that's the way you get people on your side. And that was good enough to make Mike St. Nicholas the unofficial next congressman-elect from Guam. Wow. Yeah, that's a big deal. That among all of the other things that we've got here that we say are history-making, and I'm sure that there's a bunch that would have liked to say, well, it would have been cool if we could say that we had a woman all the way around, right? Women at Adelup, women in the legislature, but still in all, we got Mike St. Nicholas, Democrat, but not a woman going to Congress, right? Got BJ over at Public Accountability. And Merriman, et cetera, over at the courthouse. So I know that they were going for some kind of a full sweep all the way through all
You know,
of
it
this.
sounds cliche, but the one thing we got this election, abundant change.
We'll see.
I mean, in terms of, the makeup, just on the outside looking in. I don't know what they're doing from the inside looking out.
Well, that's the question. That's one of the things that, I'll say it again, guys. Here's the important part. Congratulations, Lou and Josh. Who's your director of the Department of Revenue and Taxation? Hey, Lou and Josh, who are you going to put over at GITA? Who are you going to put at the fire department? Who are you going to put in the police department? Have you seen the numbers in tourism? We got crazy gangbuster numbers coming in from Korea, but what happened to the Japanese? Who are you going to put over at GVB that is going to help us restore the Japanese numbers and bring them back without us having to underwrite all of these what do you call them, charter flights out of there? Just how do we bring back the Japanese market? What brainiac are you going to put in charge of that? Who are you going to nominate to commissions? Who are you going to send to Guam Memorial Hospital and fix that mess? Fix it. Is it money? Is it management? Is it both? You ran into platform where we know about money. And we know about management, so send somebody down there or find somebody that is qualified to run the Guam Memorial Hospital. There's another one, Guam Regional Transit Authority, GRTA. How about, and they were talking about it yesterday on Bob's show, can we rename it? if it's not going to be about rapid transit or mass transit, let's rename it. Let's come up with a different mission for it, but let's stop spending as much money as we are on, and let's stop pretending that it actually accomplishes what it's supposed to be accomplishing.
I propose we call it GUS.
GUS?
Yeah, short for Guam Bus.
Guam Bus.
Yeah,
I thought the U was
GUS.
going to be short for useless.
Okay.
Because I don't think it does anything. So who are you going to put in charge of that that knows a thing or two about public transportation? And let's turn that around. That's what I want to see. We've had a bunch of years of it feels like a whole lot of status quo, and I'm kind of excited at the prospect of change. And 10, 11 women. Between the 10 women at the legislature and the one woman over at Adelup, I am delighted at the prospect that there might be a harmony of interests that will take us into an unforgettable time. Please don't hit me with another 4 years of the same government. 9:55 in the morning. Mike says I got to take a break. Be right back.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
Konnichiwa! We'll be celebrating the 39th Japan Autumn Festival on Saturday, November 17th, 2 to 9 p.m. at the Governor Joseph Flores Beach Park or EPOW Park in Tumon. Parking will be available across Oka Payless with free shuttle service starting at 1:30 p.m. Advance tickets available now at the Japan Club of Guam office located on the first floor of PM Marine. Once again, the Japan Autumn Festival at EPOW Beach Park, November 17th from 2 to 9. Come join us. For information, call 646-8066. Thank you to our platinum sponsor, Bank of Guam, and the radio stations of Choice Broadcasting. Hey, you know what? We've got some chits that we'll be giving away. That's the way they like to do it there. You buy coupons. You take them American money, and they will replace that with coupons that you're able to use at all of the vending places. And what I like to do is go and get about $100 and exchange that for coupons, and then you stand in line, get the food that you like. There's other lines that you can stand in where you can get the beer that you like, or soft drinks or water, something like that. I don't know, you're spending that kind of money for water, or you can use them for games that they have there as well. It is easily one of the most fun events on Guam, and I'm sad that we only get a Matsuri once a year. But if that's the way it's got to be, then you got to make sure that you attend this one, as I have for, I don't know, the last 30 years they've been doing it. It's always fun. And then what else do we get? There's sake drinking. Anyway, it's a good time going to be had by all, and so I anticipate that you get down there. We've got some that we'll be giving away on this station, the other two stations, in just a little bit. It's 9:57 in the morning, and I guess that was the other thing on the Unity Pledge. I was talking about Mike St. Nicholas and his non-desire. That seems to have been rewarded by the voters of ignoring the Unity Pledge. Frank and Alicia did sign the Unity Pledge, you'll recall. But as Alicia said, well, you know, the black hat ad started almost right away, and they didn't feel like they should be compelled to live with the pledge that they made, so they abandoned that as well. And some of the usual people got nuts about it. So here's the long point that I'm trying to get to is, guess what? I don't think we need to have a conversation about the Unity Pledge anymore. Let's leave that concept in 2018 and come up with something else that is going to be more meaningful to the voters as opposed to just the elders of the party. And I wish there was more. I wish there was more without belaboring some of the points that I've made before too many times. Barry Mead says these are good questions, Ray. Lulian Guerrero has got a super majority, and if I was Lulian Guerrero, I would invite every member of that super majority. In fact, every member of the legislature. Let's go have a meeting on the 10th floor of the Bank of Guam, and let's start talking about what was your platform. These are the parts of my platform. How do we all work together in this very interesting and very unique time to knock it all out? And as Uncle Carl and I like to say, make Guam Guam again. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and polling places, precincts all across the country are beginning to close, at least in the eastern seaboard of the United States, beginning to close. So it shouldn't be too much longer before we actually start seeing some results from the midterm elections in the United States. Blue wave here on Guam. Will that happen in the U.S. as well? The radio station is KUSG Agana. Fox News Live is coming up next. Until tomorrow, from Michael Knight, Kevin Kerrigan, and Blake Watson, thanks for watching. See ya.
This is a Fox News alert. Today's the day. I'm Lisa Lacera. Polls now closed in a half dozen states this election day. The Fox News decision desk can now project that independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who identifies as a Democratic socialist, will easily win a third term by defeating Republican Lawrence Zupan. Sanders unsuccessfully challenged Hillary Clinton in the 2016 Democratic presidential primaries, and some expect him to run again in 2020. In addition to every House seat and some Senate